What?
Hey, welcome back to the special edition Christmas spoiler episode of Steve. Steve reads a comic, Rob hates a comic, Sean shits on everything.
Sean looks for a comic anxiously at the end of the episode.
Yeah, so this is a bonus episode kind of thing. I'm guessing Rob. I think Steve and I both finished Daredevil. Did you finish Daredevil, Steve? Or no?
Daredevil.
Wasn't that our pick for the week?
Yeah, it was Daredevil.
Oh, the comic. I was like, am I supposed to watch the movie? Yeah, I finished it.
So, and Rob has not started, I'm guessing?
No.
Okay. So we are not going to be discussing the Daredevil comic book. This is going to be a Steve watches a movie, watches a TV show type episode.
A can of Simonize.
Yeah, so we are good. This is the spoiler announcement from this point going forward. Everything after this is going to be spoilers, and these spoilers are going to be for Spider-Man No Way Home. They're going to be for Hawkeye, all 6 episodes, the entire series basically is going to be spoiled, and the Matrix Resurrections and anything related to those, any prequels, any type of other material, comics, the Animatrix, whatever, all that kind of stuff is going to be discussed freely without any more spoiler warnings. This is the spoiler warning. If you have not seen Spider-Man No Way Home, please go see it before you listen to us babble on about it. Same with the Matrix Resurrections and the Hawkeye series, unless, of course, you have no interest in those, which in that case, you're probably not listening to this show at all.
Or you have no interest in us.
Right, exactly. You're not listening to this show if you don't want to see that stuff. So, all right. So all spoilers, everything is on the table. We are not holding anything back starting now. All right.
Okay, Steve, I haven't talked to you. I've talked to Sean about Matrix Resurrections. So what'd you think? Let's get your opinion on it.
You better go first.
No. I told Rob. I gave Rob.
I haven't talked to you. Yeah.
Yeah. So Steve is undoubtedly the biggest Matrix fan out of the 3 of us, and Steve and I discussed it the other day, and then Rob and I discussed it later that day. And I told Rob, I was like, "You got to hear some of Steve's opinions. They're fucking hilarious." And yeah, let's hear. You're the Matrix expert here.
Yes, for the listener that doesn't watch our YouTube channel, I have a Matrix bar. I built a Matrix bar. You can see it if you check out YouTube. Steve Reads. I'm sitting in it right now. I love the Matrix, everything Matrix. If you saw the movie, you saw the McFarlane toys in one of the scenes that Neo was looking at in his office. I have all those. I have all kinds of freaking man Barbies. I'm
flicking Maggie off. Sorry, Maggie's
okay. I was like, why are you flicking me off?
I'm not flicking you off. Flicking Maggie off. Sorry.
Okay.
She's being spicy.
So I watch the Matrix all the time. I'm like that one. I'm like the people in Reloaded when Neo gets off the elevator and they're like, they give him all those offerings. Like after I put my kids
You're the kid.
After I put my kids and wife to bed, I come up here and I stare at Neo statues and put little offerings down by his feet. And I'm like, I have a child in Barthenosis. Could you watch over him? But yes, I love the Matrix.
Wait a minute. Did you do enough prayers to your Neo shrine to make sure that this latest sequel was worth watching? Did you do that?
I apparently was praying to the wrong Neo statue because
okay, wait a minute now here. Now we had, I don't know, for the listeners that don't listen to us all the time, we had a conversation about the Matrix, and Steve was saying that it was all a love story. That's why
for him it was the most important thing to him was the love story. Is what he said.
Yes,
we're gonna point this out because if Steve doesn't divulge what he sent to me in text, I will put him on blast happily. But he defended vehemently, heartily. He defended his position that his favorite thing about the Matrix was the love story. And Rob and I both disputed that.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, shut the fuck up.
No, I will not.
I was wrong. I do love that part. But
hang on, I gotta find this.
I do love
the text you sent me.
I do love that part. But apparently there is more to the Matrix than just Neo and Trinity. I I thought I was going to get some better action scenes in this. I swear to God, man. I kept waiting for it and waiting for it. When we got to see the Merovingian, I was like, all right, here we go. Here we go. Because at this point, I was loving everything of this movie up until this point. I was enjoying the new characters they introduced. I thought everybody was cool. I liked Bugs. I liked the whole concept of Neo creating the video game. And he's still stuck in the Matrix, but he creates the Matrix video game. I loved all that. I loved the way they introduced how the some of the machines made their own choice. Since they're all AI, they decided to just say, fuck the machine world. I'm going to go here with Neo, help him, help the humans. And I was loving all this stuff they were adding to the already existing lore. And I was like, all right, so wow, I need some scenes. I need some Matrix fight scenes, some monumental, groundbreaking fight scenes. I got to the Merovingian, and the way they shot it, it was close up. The camera was close up. There's too many people. I couldn't see what the fuck was going on. And then he gets dropped down and he fights Smith. And I was like, okay, this will be a good one, And basically, the only cool scene I saw was when he did that double kick off the wall and hit him. And I was like, I saw that in the fucking trailer, And then I was like, okay, all right, we're going to get to Neo and Trinity. They're going to reach each other. They're going to get out. She's going to break free. I got that scene finally. She one of my favorite things in this movie, before I start shitting on everything else, when she does decide to go with Neo, I love it. She was just like, fuck my kids. Neo!
She didn't say
like,
that, but...
No, she didn't say that. But basically, she was like, fuck these kids.
She said, don't call me Tiff.
And she reached out, and they're getting each other. They finally grab hands, and I'm like, oh, this is great. And I was like, okay, now let's wreck this town, Let's run this town tonight, as Rihanna would say. And I'm like, here comes the great action. And I was telling Sean I had to take I had to have some introspection. I had to take a deep, hard look at who I am.
A little bit of a self-audit.
I thought I was further along with equality and women's rights than I was. But as soon as I saw my famed protagonist riding bitch on the back of a motorcycle for the whole entire fucking third act, I was like, what the fuck is going on? What? Get off the bike, do some fucking kung fu. All he did was do this, though. He just moved his hands and waved his hands.
He made little, he used the force, basically.
Yeah. I was like, okay, and that's cool. I'm like, that's cool. But on the back of the motorcycle, I'm just like, can you please get your own motorcycle or something? I was like, there's nothing. I don't know about you guys, but there's nothing more emasculating for a man than to be fucking seen riding on the back of a motorcycle.
In real life, that would have registered. If I saw that in real life, I would have laughed. I would have pointed and laughed. I'm not gonna lie. In the movie, it didn't even register with me. I don't know why.
Well, it wasn't.
But when you said it, when you actually said, man, Neo riding bitch, I started laughing because I knew exactly what scene you're talking about. He's got his hands up on her shoulders, and it's it's funny.
I'm like, but I saw that in the trailer, and I was like, oh, okay, he'll just be on the bike for a little bit. It was the climactic third act. That's what it was. Go ahead, Rob.
You gotta move your mic
I didn't even think about the demasculine part of it, but I was with you. I just wanted to see him get off and fight, or somebody fight something. I didn't want to watch the third act.
We wanted
him riding a bike with helicopters shooting missiles, or no, I'm sorry, cars blowing up without the missile coming from the helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, what the heck, man?
And once again, we saw that missile from the helicopter in the trailer.
So I was watching it, and I had to pause it right before that scene where Trinity finally, awakens.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, it's finally good. And Molly came home and she had to unload groceries, and then she didn't want me to watch it.
Yeah.
She said she might watch it, so I had to
Uh-huh.
pause it. I had to pause it for like 20 minutes, and I was so like nerve wracked. I was like, oh, it's finally getting good.
Yes,
I was
yes.
so excited.
That is
And then I watched the rest of it, and I
that's
just was
that is
like,
exactly
dude.
where I was. I'm glad you pointed that out because
I had a half-hour pause
that's what, dude.
of that crap,
When
and I was
they
like, yes, it's getting good, and then it just went to
when
crap.
they reached out, I had the same. When they touched each other's hands, I had the
Mm.
same exact reaction because I can wait for it. You know, I can wait for great action. You know, that's fine with me. But you got to get to the great action. But all I saw was Neo riding around on the back of a motorcycle, and then I see him. What was the scene where they jump off the roof and she's just holding him, dangling him around? That looks so fucking stupid, man. I'm like, he's like, I'm not doing this. Is this you? And I was like, this is
All right, let
horribly
me
done. But
let me
then, no,
explain.
wait, one more thing. After that, I had to watch Trinity
Pull your
drag.
mic away. You're killing my
No,
ears, bro.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I
I
had to
got
watch.
one ear on, man.
I had to watch. I had to watch Trinity drag him around like a handbag in the air, and I was like, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought I was more progressive than I am, but everything when I saw that, like all my primitive primal instincts came out, and I'm like, dude, I am I'm a feminine man. I have feminine
You're
qualities. I like musicals. I like design shows. I like designing my own home. I like rearranging furniture. I have tits with the potential to lactate. I am a feminine man, but as soon as I saw him on
he
the back
takes it
of
in the butt too.
that wasn't my fault. Uh, I saw that and I was like, I can't. The beast came out. I was like, I was caveman. I was like, I can't take it. I can't take it.
See,
This is
dude,
my.
I
Let me
didn't get that.
explain the scene.
Wait a
Let
minute.
me,
I don't
But
think.
that's how the movie ended, and I'm like, I just threw my remote. I was like, I'm like,
you
I
actually
don't.
threw your
I didn't
remote.
get
no,
it.
I mean, I threw it on the chair next to
All
me.
those scenes with her being empowered and all that. That's fine. It was just poorly done. Like
Yeah,
it looked like she was hanging from. They were hanging from a crane.
dude,
That
I have
I
no
mean,
problem with her being empowered and
right? It was just.
Yes, let me
being the
explain
main.
this scene. We keep talking about the scene. Let me please explain what we're talking about. They jump off a building together. They're holding hands. That you think maybe this is the moment where Neo starts flying, and you see, and it's in like slow motion, and they both start nose diving. Neo gets a little bit ahead of her, and then all of a sudden he gets yanked up by her, and they show she is literally frozen in air, perpendicular to the ground though. And I showed this scene to Maggie last night. She has not seen the movie, but I was like, you got to see this shit. You got to see what the people who basically invented modern special effects, you got to see what they did in this movie. And she is dangling as if, so they have those wire rigged flying harnesses.
Yeah,
She looks like one of those behind the scenes vignettes or featurettes or whatever where they're showing behind the scenes where they're on the harness. It
right.
just and like something has malfunctioned
Yeah.
and the actor is just suspended and they're again perpendicular to the ground, like belly flopping towards the ground. She's just stopped in midair, holding him with her hand. And her legs are like flailing, because again, she's on a fucking rig and it just looks like she's on a broken fucking harness rig and like something's gonna snap
Yeah.
and part of her's gonna fall. It was so poorly done. Aside from the emasculating part, it just was a horrible special effect.
Dude.
It didn't make sense. It wasn't some grand thing. If she had snapped his hand and just took off flying, that would have been something.
Yeah.
But they did this weird thing, and it's like for a minute. She's just there holding him and he's looking up. And again, her legs are just like kicking like a baby. And it's like, why? Who thought this looked good?
Dude,
Who let this through?
It looked so bad that they might as well have just left the wires in. That's how bad it looked.
It did. It looked like a harness malfunction. It was so fucking bad.
And like you said, the movie that revolutionized,
special effects.
Special effects.
Yes. and that's where they're at now. They have regressed to like pre 1978 Superman with the wire harness. And I just started laughing audibly. And again, I showed it to Maggie, and she was just horrified because it just looks so bad.
And I remember I was like, I paused it when, you know, when they grabbed hands, and I was like, all right, we still got some good amount of time left. They can do something great here. And it just never happened. And I picked up the remote and I just dropped it onto the freaking chair next to me, and he got up because I had stayed up. I woke up at 2 a.m. No, it was 3:00. I woke up at 3:00 in the morning. I watched it, and when I got done, I had about 20 minutes before I had to go to work. So like I was so frustrated. I just dropped the remote. I was like, I went down, brushed my teeth. I was like, why did I even stay up? Why'd I do this to myself?
Steve quit his job that day.
Yeah, dude, I was so upset, man. I was a broken man after watching this movie. It is so disheartening because now I know exactly how Sean felt at Force Awakens. Like I know that feeling now. And the night before, the Browns had just went from first place to last place, and then I saw this, and it was just
I got to point out bad events. I got to point out some stuff I enjoyed about the movie, which is,
before you do that, can I ask Steve a question?
Yeah.
So is it all about the love story, or do you have to have a little action?
It's about, in the Matrix, I do like love stories, but in the Matrix, it's about love stories and groundbreaking fight scenes. I can admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong.
Yeah, that text I got
from you that morning. I loved everything with Neo and Trinity. Like everything up until when they got together, I was like, yes, go fucking kick some ass. Go find the analyst. Go find fucking Smith, even though he just saved you. Go kick his ass. Go do something.
Dude, I got a text from Steve early in the morning, and he's like, I just finished the movie or whatever. And then we have this kind of inside joke and he was like, decisions were made, because it was something I said after I saw The Force Awakens and I didn't want to spoil it. So I just kept telling him, I was like, decisions were made. All right. Decisions were made on this movie. You have to go see it. We could discuss those decisions. He texted me that. So I was immediately like, I was trying to go back to sleep, but like, I was just like, with Steve, knowing he was amped up about his favorite franchise, I was just like, all right, I guess I got to go watch it right now. So I did. And I was really enjoying it for the beginning of it. So there's some like real meta stuff going on at the beginning where Neo is, he's Neo, but now he works for a video game developer, and he's like the lead developer on this hit series called The Matrix, where they made 3 video games, 3 Matrix video games, as far as he knows. And now Warner Brothers, this is literally the plot at the beginning that intrigued me. They were like, Warner Brothers has come to this development studio and said, hey, we want you to make a 4th one. And if you don't want to, we're going to have somebody else do it, and you're going to lose your development deal with us. And so he's like, I guess I'm making Matrix 4. So I'm guessing all that is kind of how they ended up, how the Wachowskis or Lana Wachowski ended up making the Matrix 4 is I'm guessing Warner Brothers was like, hey, it's time to revive this franchise. And if you don't do it, we're going to have somebody else do it. And now I kind of wish they had somebody else do it. But I kind of like that meta commentary. And I was telling you guys, I guess a lot of people didn't catch this, but when we first meet Trinity in the movie, her name is Tiffany, and she's a mom. She's a married mom, and she meets up with Neo. Like he introduces himself to her at a coffee shop, and then her husband comes in. And her husband, she's like, this is my husband, Chad. And I started laughing because I immediately recognized the actor. He's an actor named Chad Stahelski. He's actually better known as a stuntman, and he's best known for directing John Wick, the first one. He collaborated with Keanu Reeves on that, and being Keanu Reeves' stuntman in a lot of movies, but most importantly, the Matrix movies. So she had married like a fake Keanu Reeves, which I thought was very funny and clever. So I was like getting into the movie. I was like, oh, these are some inside jokes here. I like this because I'm a Matrix fan. I recognize that guy. And then we got to like the fight. So they find a way to bring in characters like Morpheus. And then we see a fight scene in a dojo with Morpheus. And I'm like, oh yeah, let's watch this. This is going to be awesome. And I'm like, what's happened to the choreography? And like,
right.
I tried to look it up, but I was like, so the choreographer on the first 3 movies was a guy named Yuan Wu Ping. who is like a legendary fight choreographer from Hong Kong. He started off doing like Jet Li and Donnie Yen movies, Iron Monkey and Fist of Legend, and all these great martial arts movies, Unleashed, but a lot of Jet Li stuff. Back in like the 90s, maybe even further back than that. And then obviously the Wachowskis hired him for the Matrix series. We had these wonderfully filmed, choreographed fight scenes with these beautifully composited shots of just, the way they shot the scenes, like the wide angles they used. And, they made a one-on-one fight feel super fucking epic. We get to these fight scenes and like Steve was saying, the camera's in all tight. There's no like, the choreography was to reference Hawkeye. It was like TV level. It was,
Morpheus was wearing something where I couldn't even see his arms and his legs. It was like, it was the outfit he was wearing. I was like, this sucks. I can't even see it in.
It was bad. It was like B movie level choreography. And again, this was the franchise that like revitalized kung fu chopsaki movies, whatever you want to call them. That genre was like big in the 80s, kind of went downhill in the 90s. 99, Matrix shows up, all of a sudden badass martial arts fights are fucking back and they look better than ever. And now what happened?
Yeah. The pacing was slow too. I was like, I know Keanu can fight faster than this. I've seen John Wick. Like it was faster in the first Matrix movie. Like the move, I was like, but that I mean, it was all right. He did his big super blast at the end of that fight scene. I was like, all right, not what I was expecting, but it was all right. And then we got, what did we get? We get a fight on the train. That was
that was terrible.
That was all mumbled garbage. I couldn't see what was going on that train.
Right.
And then we got to the Merovingian scene, and that was like, okay, this has got to be a good fight scene, and it wasn't.
There were no good fight scenes, and then Neo rides bitch to the third act climax.
We're like, I was like, can we do something else? Can he get off the bike and maybe fight something? Right. Sean said he did like how the people out of the buildings turned into bombs. That was kind of cool.
It was a small thing that I just enjoyed, but it was also kind of dumb. And again, I kind of would have liked to have seen, like, if they're going to use Neo, which at this point I wish they hadn't used Neo and Trinity as their main characters. I wish we'd gotten a new cast with a new story. But like, I would have liked to see something like Doctor Strange's mirror dimension, where they're really warping the Matrix around and using the environment to fight and stuff. And instead we just got Neo doing, like jazz hands and everything. And that was basically his role, was just jazz hands.
Dude, the entire third act was jazz hands.
Yeah, it was a letdown. But and then this was the question I posed to both of you. Rob had somewhat of an answer.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I don't understand. So basically, the Doogie Howser, the analyst guy, he starts explaining his master plan, and basically he has rebuilt Neo and Trinity like multiple times in simulations. Every simulation, if they get together, they're like acids and bases. He says, and I'm like, so why do you keep making Trinity and Neo? Don't do that. And his explanation was like, you're the anomaly of anomalies. It's like, that's it. That's your reason to rebuild. And like I said to Steve and Rob, I was like, if you are a person made out of ice and you live on an ice planet, maybe don't invent fire. You know what I mean? Like, because that's what that seems like they did there. It was the reasoning behind it. Because I was just like, what was the why? And I went back and watched that scene again, Steve.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what is he talking about? And something Rob said kind of made a little sense about how they produce so much energy when they're together. But it's like, that's the best explanation.
I thought he was always a part. He was inherent in the Matrix because he was the remainder. No,
they had to rebuild him. That was the original stuff. He told them, he's like, I had to go to the suits. It cost a lot of money, like renovating a house money. And we had to rebuild you guys. And it was so expensive. And
they were dead. They were dead and gone. They were done. Them. That's the title. The analyst had them resurrected. So
it makes no sense.
But they never. That was the explanation they gave. That was it.
Go watch it again and see if you could extract something.
The only thing what I got out of it, I don't want to watch it again. What I got out of it is that because those two, they generate so much energy, the efficiency
when they're together.
when they're close together.
Yeah.
That they generate so much efficiency.
Oh, that's what it was.
It's like a
so it's like a
super
boost
battery.
of power.
Right.
Yeah.
So like if you're running at optimal 50% with normal humans, you put those two close together.
So you're reading into it now. He never said anything about that. He never said anything about no 50%.
That's what I take.
No. Don't give the writers this. The writers did not say that. Don't give them this. Don't give writers a fucking backdoor here.
That'd never be another Matrix movie.
But basically, he was saying instead of like an alkaline battery, they could get like a lithium battery.
Right.
Basically,
they could get a charge. Like, but also the way he was saying it, he was also saying they learned from it, and they learned that humans need two things: fear and desire. And with that, nobody realized they were in the Matrix because they were living fearfully. They kept them oppressed with, shitty jobs and just enough pay to get by. And then desire, and I'm saving up for that TV. You know what I mean? And they use that. And that's how they were getting power as well, because with those two things, it was like a perfect Matrix or whatever. But he had to go beg to make Neo and Trinity. And so, but again, why did you beg to do that? He didn't know that was going to happen. What's the why behind, I want to make these two that destroyed everything? Let's do that. And who, again, this is like the Death Star committee in Force Awakens, where they're like, a third Death Star, let's get that funding together. I think it could work this time. It's just asinine. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So yeah, they never gave an explanation for that then, huh?
Not one that holds water.
Okay.
It doesn't make any, again, you live in a world made of ice. Don't bring fire.
When I saw Sati 2,
yeah,
I was like, oh, that's cool. And then they started trying to explain how they were going to get Trinity out of there. And I was completely lost. And I was like,
yeah,
what? I was like, whatever. I don't care. I'll go with it. Let's just get to when Neo and Trinity get together.
And let's go see them do kung fu together.
It was a heist montage.
Yes. And yeah, dude.
How cool was it when Trinity started fighting, though, and she did her fucking scorpion kick?
Yeah.
Wasn't that a cool moment, though? When she, woke up and she just fucking started kicking ass. It was so cool to see Carrie Ann Moss kicking ass again. That was so short-lived, though.
Right. And it's like, they tried to explain why Bugs had to be there, too, and I didn't understand that.
I didn't understand that either.
I was like, whatever, I don't care. Let's just get to when she awakens. And then we got there, and it was complete shit after that. It was shit.
It was a series of, build-ups and to nothing. Just, you know what I mean?
Did you watch the end credit scene? I didn't even understand.
That was dumb as fuck, too.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
What was I watched it, I forgot what it was.
It was the people in the meeting.
Where they're talking about the game, but meta style. Oh, and they need cats. That's what it was. They needed cat videos.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
The Catrix, right. It was just supposed to be a joke. It was,
good
God.
Is that a Facebook thing or something?
It's so bad, man.
All right, let's do the 4-star. Let's do the 4-star rating for Matrix Resurrections.
I just want to add something real quick before I was really hyped to see this movie, and my poster over here. See this? See that? For those of you on YouTube, you can see it. My poster,
got a Matrix poster.
Matrix 4 came about 4 hours before, it was about 8 hours before the movie came out, and I was like, oh, this is it, man. The universe is aligned. Everything is ready. I got my Matrix 4 poster just in time to watch Matrix 4. Oh.
All right, Rob, 4 out of 4 stars. What do you give the Matrix Resurrections?
I give it a 2 just because it had Keanu Reeves and Carrie Ann Moss.
Right. All right. Steve?
Yeah, the love could not hold this movie.
What's your 4-star rating out of 4 stars?
It's a 1.5, 2. I have to watch it again. Maybe I'll say 1.5 right now. Maybe I'll give it a 2 after I see it again. Maybe I can.
Okay, I'm surprised. I thought you were going to go lower. I thought you were going to do a half a star.
Dude, Niobe really angered me too. I don't know why. Maybe I am sexist. I have no idea. I had
no issues with any of the cast.
I was like, why is she? I don't want to see her crippled ass walking around. Just get her out of here. Bring back Locke. Bring back Locke. I want Locke. Is he still alive?
or Senator Senator Ham or whatever his name was.
Yeah. Well, that guy's definitely
Ham. But I would give it
dead.
I give it that's it. Senator Hammond, something like that. Yeah.
Hammond.
I give it 2 stars as well. It was a big letdown. I give the first 3 movies 4 stars each. I loved every single Matrix movie up until this one. This one was I know a lot of people dropped off after the first one. They're like, well, the second and third one sucked. What do you expect? It's like, well, you're an idiot. But the fourth one was the one where it went sour. Not 2, not 3.
How'd you like the statue of Morpheus?
That was nice, I guess.
I was like, can we
couldn't
just
help but
get
be
Lawrence
like,
Fishburne,
right.
please?
I was just like, why don't you just have Lawrence Fishburne? I know he's available. I just saw him in the MacGruber TV series. He's still working.
Rob.
Yeah.
What do you give it?
He gave it 2. You weren't listening,
not
clearly.
Listen to anything
wasn't
I
listening
just
at all.
said.
You gave it 2. I thought that was Sean. What did you give it, Sean?
We both gave it a 2.
All
I
right.
gave it a
Jesus.
2 before he gave it a 2.
I'm sorry. I'm
Before
seeing,
you gave it a
podcast
1.5.
is not only
I can't-
talking but
I'm seeing,
listening.
I can't see through the flames of frustration right now. I'm sorry.
But you
I can't
gave it
hear.
2 stars, so that's not bad.
No, I know, because it did have a lot of things I liked, but it fell way short.
Dude,
of the,
they
way
failed at
short
the-
of the mark. Way short.
2 stars for me seems, or 2 stars from you seems generous because I think you hated it a lot more than I did. But like
I
my
said
anger
one.
was
No, I
more,
said 1.5. I'll watch it again.
1.5 star.
Maybe I'll give it 2.
Okay, but the fight scenes, man, in 20 years, that's the best they could come up with. Like, that's shocking that they.
So who did
And again, maybe that was Lily Wachowski's input. Maybe we're missing what she brought to the franchise. And, Lana's focus was more on the love story or this and that or whatever, or maybe on, but we clearly need the Wachowskis together as a unit. I think that might be the key there.
Dude, the way that movie ended, it said directed by Lana Wachowski. I was like, what? That was it? What? That was it? It ended? That was it? That's what we got?
It was a disappointment. It was not the worst movie I've seen this year. That was still the Eternals. All right, so let's move.
It was worse.
I agree. And that was with no expectations. Eternals I knew was going to be a fucking flaming pile of dog shit, and it's managed to go lower than what I even thought. All right, let's move on to Hawkeye. Everybody watched the final episode, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. So yeah, we get the big tease at the end of episode 5 for Kingpin, and we get Kingpin. We got to get into this because Steve, it's your turn to pass the fire over to me, and it's time for me to well up with righteous indignation now.
I don't know, man. I got a lot of fire for this last episode too. So
okay. We haven't
ahead.
talked about it yet. Rob and I talked about it. Steve and I have not talked about it yet. So, what Maggie? We're not talking about Far From or No Way Home yet. Maggie wants to come in as a guest for No Way Home because she threatened me with divorce after I made her see it today. Okay. Anyway, back to fucking Hawkeye. All right. So first of all, I just finished watching Daredevil season 3. Finally, I watched season 1 and 2 when they came out. I watched like part of season 3. I just wasn't into it. There was nothing wrong with it. I just wasn't in the mood for it. So I literally didn't return to it until a week ago. I think I was about halfway through the 3rd season. And so there's a big fight. And Kingpin is in season 2 a lot too. I can't remember if he's in season 1. He might have been. But I think he was in season 1 too. But anyway, Kingpin in the comics, Kingpin in the series is a hulking mass of muscle. Like the whole thing in the comics is that he looks like a big fat guy, but he's actually, it's all muscle basically. He's just huge. He's very strong, very powerful. And Daredevil and Bullseye both are fighting against him in the season 3 finale, and they get the shit kicked out of themselves, but they ultimately beat him. And after a long, knockdown, drag out fight, and he goes back to jail. That's like the last we saw of him, as far as I know. And then in this show, our star, Kate Bishop, in case you didn't know who the star of Hawkeye was, it's Kate Bishop. It is not Clint Barton, as they might have fooled you into thinking. Our star, Kate Bishop, the 22-year-old college girl who took martial arts classes, and this is her first time fighting people who actually want to kill her. She beats Kingpin in about 5 minutes by herself.
I think it was shorter than that.
Yeah, I'm being generous with that. But yeah, it was a. Meanwhile, Clint Barton, the actual Hawkeye, is sitting in a Christmas tree, guys. That's what's happening in our Hawkeye show. Hawkeye is stuck in a Christmas. I am not making this up. I am not making this up for anybody who. And she, meanwhile, after it looks like Kingpin basically punched a hole through her body, Mortal Kombat style. She gets up, she's fine. After flying, like he punches her so hard, she goes flying. All her ribs would be cracked. And I was telling Rob this, like, dude, when I was taking martial arts and we were doing like line sparring, and we had a guest instructor, a black belt, and I'm a white belt. I'm a new guy, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go after this dude, right? Because he can take it, because he's a black belt, right? And so I come at him hard and fast. He fucking punches me in my ribs. I fucking drop. And I'm like trying to catch my breath. This was not a big guy. This wasn't like some big dude. He was a black belt, so he knew how to hit and stuff. But I think I honestly flustered it. And honestly, in line sparring, you're not supposed to hit that hard. You're supposed to pull your punches. You're not trying to fucking knock people out. But I did. I came at him hard because I'm like, well, you're a fucking black belt. I'm a white belt. You can hit. And he panicked and fucking blasted me in the ribs. And that one shot in the ribs gave me rib pain for like 2 months. Like, I didn't have a cracked rib. I had bruised ribs.
I was going to say, it might have been broke.
No, it was bruised, it turns out. They didn't find anything in the x-ray. But man, getting up out of bed every day, I was like, ugh. It was so watching her get punched in the gut and then go flying, and this fist is about the same size as her entire midsection, and she's just like, I'm fine. And then we watch Clint get blasted in the head with a metal nightstick 3 times, like full force,
like a train
kill in the head. But yes, yeah, these sounds like when you would hit the fucking swing set with like a bat or something.
Yeah,
and those are the sound, and he doesn't even get knocked out. There's no marks on him. I'm like, why are you doing this? It was so bad. And I was telling Rob, I was like, this was like watching an episode of Power Rangers. That's what these fights felt like. None of the fighting actually was hitting. It looked brutal as fuck, but you get hit in the head 3 times with a fucking nightstick. You're done. You are done, son. I don't care if you're fucking Clint Barton. You're done. I watched him get knocked out in a punch by fucking Scarlett Johansson. All right.
I was talking to a buddy at work. He's like, how'd you like Hawkeye? I was like, well, Kate Bishop should be dead. And I had to watch fucking Clint Barton in a fucking Christmas tree. I said the same thing you did. I was like, you spent half the fucking episode in a damn tree. And instead of climbing down tree branches,
right,
she shoots the giant Rockefeller tree down. I'm like, that guy's dead now. Like, he could have easily climbed down the branches.
It's a fir tree. It would have hurt. He had a little bit of body armor. He could have literally slid down. That's the normal thing you expect to see.
He would have been a little bit sticky from the sap. But other than that, he'd be alive. It was so dumb. Everything was too much shit they had to complete. It was all rushed. None of the fight scenes were good. The fucking, these were supposed to be... everything was anticlimactic, dude. It was just like, there's Yelena. I was like, this is supposed to be a good scene, but they only had like 30 seconds together. He whistles and everything's fine. I'm like,
and he waited to do that too. Like, do that at the start of the conversation before she hits you in the head 3 times with a nightstick. Like, we didn't need that level of violence.
And then Echo took out Kazi like lickety split. I'm like, what is going on?
You had to wrap up. You had to wrap up the guy with the sword.
Yeah.
You had LARPers you were dealing with.
Oh, that's another thing. What were they doing there?
That was dumb. You had to wrap up Clint and Yelena. You had to wrap up Kingpin and her mom. You had to wrap up Kazi and Echo.
Oh, you
had to wrap up Echo and Kingpin.
Dude, she just sends her mom to jail like it's nothing. She's like, see ya. Like, what?
They didn't have enough time.
I know. It was all rushed. It was too much, man.
Can I tell you? I'm going to tell you now a theory I have held of my own since the first episode, and I can share it now because it's actually something Steve has asked me about, and I've just kind of been like, I don't know, maybe. And it did not pay off at all. But I was trying to withhold something that I thought was for payoff. Can we all agree that Haley Steinfeld looks really dumb in those blue contacts? Is that just me? Anybody notice she's wearing blue contacts the whole
I
time?
had no idea.
So I noticed that right away, and they look terrible. I have an amazing television. I haven't talked about it in a while. So with the Dolby Vision, I noticed these blue contacts. She does not have blue eyes. She has these blue contacts.
I thought
Vera
she had brown
Farmiga,
eyes.
she does, but in the show, she has blue eyes. She has blue contacts in. You can tell they're very artificial looking. Again,
Why?
Rob will go TV shopping for you. But anyway, so let me tell you why I thought they did this and why I never addressed how ridiculous they looked. I thought they did it because one of Vera Farmiga's, known features, she has like bright blue eyes. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that, but Vera Farmiga has very bright blue eyes, and she's supposed to be her daughter. And so Steve kept asking me, do you think that's Madame Mask? And I'm like, no, I don't know. I don't think so. And the whole reason I thought she might be Madame Mask is because of the comic book where Kate Bishop puts on the mask and imitates her, and you can only see her eyes, blue eyes, right?
Oh.
No payoff whatsoever. They just gave her blue eyes so she would look terrible, basically. So she would look like she wears blue contacts. That was the payoff. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I thought there was going to be a Madame Mask moment, and they just gave her blue eyes so she could look like she's insecure about her eye color, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, that was my theory from the first episode. I'm like, they gave her blue contacts. There must be a reason for that. No, there's no fucking reason.
Dude, and I was really starting to like Jack Duquesne, and then the last episode happened, and I'm like, I don't even care about the swordsman anymore. Like,
I thought that was funny. I liked that.
Dude, at all of it. Way too much.
The LARPers were a little bit ridiculous.
That was so stupid to bring
There was no
in.
drama. I thought they were going to kill Grills maybe once they all started fighting.
They didn't kill anybody. They acted like they killed Kingpin, and I think we can all agree they did the classic off-camera gunshot,
right? Yeah,
which means nothing. There's about 1 million back doors you could think of for what happened there.
I heard on another podcast that I guess in the comics Echo shot him and he loses an eye, but he's not dead.
So. Oh, okay. That could be a thing. I could see that. This is the same dude that again, at the end of Daredevil season 3, he's fighting Bullseye and Daredevil and holding his own for the most part. And then in this movie, or in this show, he gets shot in the chest with an arrow, gets hit by a car, and then gets taken out by a college girl. He stands up he pulls the arrow out of his chest. It was like, whoa! He just pulls it out, and like not like in an agonizing way, but in like he got hit like with a Nerf dart is how he treats it. And then he gets nailed by a car, goes flying into a building, and just stands up, and you're just like, holy shit!
Yeah.
And then he fights Kate Bishop, and she's like, done. Like, I was like, what? What?
He was toying with her, but she still had broken ribs.
Dude, that you
still
maintain
had
he was toying with her. If you get again, if he punched her in the gut so hard that she went flying into fucking soda machines or whatever, that's not toying with somebody. You're trying to knock that person out. And you would normally. That would normally work just fine.
Dude, if it was realistic, he would have picked her up and snapped her neck right there. Like,
or just believable. Make it believable, or just make her get knocked out. Because I think what Rob's actually, he says he was toying with her. What I think Rob means is more that he was kind of treating her as insignificant.
Yes,
he was just punch her and she'd go flying, which made sense, except for the fact that she's invincible. She's got plot armor. So with the plot armor, she stands up and then beats him, and you're just like.
Dude, I get it.
Okay.
He just ripped off a fucking car door.
We are talking about comic book superheroes movie.
Yes. But there's still like a level of logic and physics.
Superpowers, though.
Right. There's like a level of logic and physics that you expect from this stuff. And they're just all over the place in this series. Like when we were watching Black Widow.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying.
I know what you're saying, but because I know what you're saying too. You're like, well, it's all made up. But it's like, okay, but you have to have a level of believability. Not realism, but believability. And when in Black Widow, when you watch her fall off a building, and she's just like, oh, ow, that kind of hurt. And then in this, Hawkeye getting blasted in the head with that fucking nightstick, and that's like you said, the sound, man, the fucking bong.
Maybe was that a metal plate in his head?
Dude, it just, oh my god! And then did anybody even care about his wife being Mockingbird? Maybe
no.
Like, who cares,
No.
right?
Steve, you
Like-
watch Shield, right?
Yeah, that means they're getting rid of Shield, huh?
Yeah, because
Not- it's not-
Bobby was
she
already
was-
a character.
Yeah, she was Agent 19. Yeah, so I guess they're totally
Well,
leaving.
technically, they never called her Agent 19, but her name was Bobby Morris,
Mm.
which was Agent 19.
Yeah, I thought they were going to leave that out of
I
canon.
love Adrienne Pilecki. I thought she was awesome.
Oh,
That was
who's
the
that?
best.
That's who played.
That's who played.
Oh, that's who
Bobby.
played her? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I loved that season. That was a good season when she was on it.
Back to Kingpin, when you were talking about how he was playing with her, like, I get that, but he played with her like 6 times. Like,
Right.
After 1 or 2 times, that's it.
Oh, I'm
He
not
just-
arguing. I didn't say it was great.
He just
I
breaks her in half. You know,
I'm just saying. I'm giving you an alternative there.
Or
no,
literally-
I'm not.
what
No,
they
I'm
were
not.
doing.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
I didn't say they executed it well. I'm just saying that's what I think they were.
It's
going
this
for.
is what we're getting from Disney, though. Like, this is what we're getting. Like,
You know what I love, Steve? I got to tell you, man, because you were on board. You were defending this show, heart and soul.
I was.
And now
I liked it better. I liked
you
it better.
You gotta trust me though, because you liked Force Awakens, and I told you, I said this trilogy is gonna end up in the shitter, and you were like, "No, I like Force Awakens."
Yeah, but I still enjoyed the first couple episodes. Like, that hasn't changed. I still enjoyed those.
I understand that,
they would
but
have
what
went
I
a
mean
different
is,
way.
you have to admit that I saw things from a different perspective, and I could tell it was not going to get. It wasn't good, and it wasn't going to get better.
Okay,
I'm not saying you didn't enjoy it. Or you can't enjoy
it could have been better, though. That's my whole point.
Yeah,
It
it could have been way better.
It could have been way better. They made bad decisions. Were made.
The Force Awakens, yeah, decisions were made, but it was at least executed fairly decent.
You want to get me started on Force Awakens?
No.
I was like,
I'm saying,
I just saw a vein pop in
was
Sean's
a pile of crap.
You guys ever seen a live aneurysm? No, it wasn't executed well. They just ripped off A New Hope for
right,
that.
right. But I'm saying as a storyline goes, it wasn't the worst. It got worse and worse.
Yeah, I did.
No, I think Force Awakens again.
I have still never seen The Last Jedi twice.
Whoa!
I've never finished it. I've never finished the movie all the way through twice.
Hey, we're back on Hawkeye. Stay on target. Stay on target.
Force Awakens is the problem. All right, that's the problem with the new trilogy. Don't blame Last Jedi.
I'm
for Force Awakens sins.
No,
we're not doing Star Wars. Let's get back. The fight scene with Hawkeye and Yelena. What was going on there? Like, why?
Well, dude, no, worse than that. Fuck that. When Yelena's trying to get to Hawkeye and Kate Bishop's trying to stop her, like the elevator fighting.
That's the one I'm talking about. That's the one I'm talking about.
Well, you said Hawkeye. I thought you meant actual Hawkeye.
Oh, I meant. Yeah, you know what I meant.
No, we didn't.
I thought you meant at the end where
the two girls fighting each other in the hallway.
How stupid was that?
It was dumb.
How stupid was that? It was all stupid, and that's what I saw from the very first minutes of the first episode. I was like, shit, they're making it a goofy kid show. That the vibes of that whole series is literally Mighty Morphin Power Rangers mixed with Saved by the Bell. That's how I would describe that series.
That first fight scene had the sound effects with the bottles when the bottles hit the tracksuit's head. Remember the wine bottles? It was like it was like cartoony. It was like doink, dink,
yes.
Doink. Yeah, so you knew they were going that route, but man, it got worse to the point where like she's talking about a fucking Maroon 5 concert to one of the tracksuit, and I'm like, what is going on?
Oh my god.
What is going on?
It was so bad. I award you no stars, and we are all dumber for having watched it. Like,
dude, I hear people like this is one of the greatest endings to a show ever. I'm like, what were you watching?
They're like, also, the only show I ever finished watching was Growing Pains.
I've seen it multiple times. I think Collider, there was an article of someone praising the end of it, and I'm like, yay.
It was just bad. And dude, I just saw from the setup, it was going to be bad. And they just continued. And as a Hawkeye fan, that's what I'm not like a hardcore Hawkeye fan. I got a couple action figures. I got a little stack of Hawkeye comics. I'm not the most hardcore Hawkeye guy, but I do really like the character. And he really came into his own in the 2012 comic series. And since then, and in the movies, and to just completely overlook him, to focus on Kate Bishop and her non-story, because her mom put her daughter's interests first and did the best she could with her fucking husband's debts to the kingpin.
And
So
then,
let's throw that bitch in jail.
And Kate's like, off to jail.
With no remorse. No
Right.
remorse.
No
Off
tear,
to jail.
not a tear shed. She's just like,
No.
see ya. I am the righteous one. See ya.
And then the last line of the show, what does he say to her? I can think of a good name when they're trying to come up with a name for her. Like I said, going to bestow the Hawkeye title on her.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
fuck it. Fuck that. Fuck that horrible shitting on Clint Barton. It makes me so angry what they did here. It was a travesty.
You want me here? This is for your ego. You were right.
It doesn't help because I already do that. I already do that. Not to sound arrogant. I know that sounds arrogant, but again, dude, I've been writing my book. I've been writing a movie script. I've been coming up with concepts for comic books. So when I look at things as a writer. No, I'm not a published writer. This is not ego talking here. I have no experience.
Sounds like
but when you look at things, you have to construct things in a way that makes sense, that are going to be consistent. You have to, find your tone and stick with it. It is easy to veer off and go silly or go horror or whatever when I'm writing. But I have these character guides I write for myself, so I don't do that. And it depends on what I'm actually writing. So when I saw that first episode, I saw exactly what the fuck they were doing. And then they followed it through. It's same thing with Force Awakens. When I saw Force Awakens, I was like, this can only end badly. They fucked up so bad here that it's going to only get worse. And it surely did.
Rob,
and again, go ahead.
What'd you think of the Pym arrow?
Oh, that was funny.
That was funny. I thought that was
funny.
It
was funnier. I thought what had me laughing was when they were like squeaky little voices.
Like, me, 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 me.
Yeah, it sounded like Beaker.
and then the owl from the tree with Clint comes in.
That was funny. That was genuinely funny.
So
I'm not
Sean.
Yes.
You didn't like WandaVision as much as Steve and I did. WandaVision
I hated it for the most part.
Hawkeye?
Oh man, don't do that to me.
Yeah.
I think WandaVision had a lot better collection of moments that I did enjoy. Because I do like Wanda, I did like Vision, and there were some really touching moments in that show. The first 3 episodes I hate with a passion, though.
I get
if I could skip the first 3 episodes, I'd probably pick WandaVision over Hawkeye because I like Hawkeye more as a character, so it's more of a disappointment. WandaVision, I've never followed Wanda or Vision. I've never followed Scarlet Witch or Vision in comics. I know of them. I've seen them in Avengers comics and X-Men comics, but that's it. I've never had any sort of like love for those characters other than the movie characters. I like seeing them in the movie. With Hawkeye, I love the comic character and I love the movie version. And I just feel like they gave him short shrift here. And that's why it's much more injurious to me to watch Hawkeye, despite the fact he's actually a favorite character compared to Wanda and Vision.
So
Rob,
what was your choice?
I was going to say, Rob, he never answered.
I said like,
nice try there, Mr. Writer.
How many episodes is WandaVision?
It doesn't matter.
8.
Okay, well, if I could watch the last 5 of WandaVision, I'd take the last 5 of WandaVision over all 6 Hawkeyes. Plus, it's shorter. But I can't watch the first 3.
What about when you include the first 3 as a series as a whole?
I'll just kill myself. I'm done. I'll just shoot myself in the fucking head.
The stuff that happened in WandaVision was way better than what happened in Hawkeye. Dude, she created that whole world for him, then had to watch him fucking die. Had to watch the world take over him again.
They had moments in there that really upset me too, though, like with the fake out with the with Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Which was pointless. That was literally just to fuck with people.
Yeah.
That's all it was for. It was so pointless. And that was just mean, man.
Yeah. But when you saw Quicksilver for the first time, you were like, yes. Okay, well, think on that. Think on that.
No, but then it's like the Matrix Resurrections. And then like build up, nothing. Okay,
I'd rather have build up and nothing have me on the edge of my seat than watching Hawkeye get hit with a metal beam in the head 3 times.
All right, we're just comparing turds here, guys. There's really no point.
No. There's no comparison.
WandaVision was way better. WandaVision wasn't a turd.
The 2 series, I liked Loki, and
Loki
I liked
was the
Winter.
shit. Loki
Falcon
was
and Winter
awesome.
Soldier was also good. Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki, those are the 2 series. WandaVision, Hawkeye. I never want to watch either one again.
I think
Loki, every
Loki was
episode
the
I
best.
love.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
Loki was better executed, like from start to finish.
Loki was fantastic. Like,
Yeah.
and just
Loki
the
was
actors, the writing,
Yeah.
the way they took a character that I did not give a shit. I know there's like some hardcore Loki fans out there. I am not one of them. I never gave a fuck about Loki until this series. So great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
But
good.
I did like
Loki
Falcon and Winter Soldier. I thought that was good.
I
too.
thought that was really good. That could have been better, but there were some great moments,
Yeah.
and tonally it was consistent for the most part. And I just really like Anthony Mackie, just the way he really earned his status as Captain America, and I love the way they pulled the suit right out of the comics, like Bucky's whole story. Like I thought all that was like really good for the most part.
Yeah.
Hey, did you heard her say lucky, right?
Oh no, I didn't even
At
notice.
the
I was probably playing on my phone.
They said it twice. They said
the end.
they said lucky twice. Yeah.
I was so mentally checked out at that point.
What's up with? Remember when I thought, because I didn't know anything about the comics or anything, and I said I thought Clint's daughter was supposed to be Hawkeye.
Kate Bishop.
Well, yeah, because you saw her at the beginning of Endgame, and he calls her Hawkeye.
Yeah. So I was like, and then the other girl just shows up, like his daughter's probably like, "What the fuck, man? I was supposed to take that." I've been shooting arrows forever too. What the fuck?
He does not want his daughter to become Hawkeye. He's like, yeah, let's let this chick who has no issue throwing her mom in prison. Let's have her be Hawkeye. She has no issue with making the hard decisions here.
Okay.
But yeah, like you said, that was so unbelievable when she's just like, why did you do this? Like, she bailed you out of everything. She provided everything for you. And just immediately you're like, and also it's explained too, she did this stuff under duress. Like, this was not her choice. She did this because she was trying to protect her child and maintain her family. I'm not saying she made the best choices. She's going to go on the run. But you know how Kingpin is. Kingpin's one of the most dangerous fucking people in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
It's a very realistic, believable response that she would do these things for this guy. And then she went to him. She's like, I want out. I'm done. And he's like, I'm going to kill you anyway. Like, that's what I mean. Like, it's not that cut and dry. And we're just supposed to be like, yeah, send that bitch to jail.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's not black and white. There's a little gray there, man.
Right.
It just went totally black or white.
Then there was like a fight scene between Clint and Kazi, and that was weak. And I was like, what is that? Clint shot like 3 arrows in the final episode. I swear to God, he shot like 3 arrows. I was like, what? I was like, fuck, Sean was right again. I was like, God damn it.
I gotta tell you guys something. We're gonna get into Spider-Man, I assume, here.
Yes.
But I've told you this, but I'm telling this for a listener now. I follow a lot of comic book creators, artists and writers on Twitter and just social media. And Donny Cates, the writer of the last Venom run that we all liked, I think you guys just read Absolute Carnage, but the whole Venom run I've been talking up. It was really great. Really brought the character up to like A-list status, in my opinion. He had posted a picture of the spider suit at the very end of Spider-Man No Way Home, and then he took it down immediately because people were like, that's a spoiler, dude, which I did not agree with. And he literally replied, he's like, I didn't know showing a picture of Spider-Man in a Spider-Man suit was a spoiler, but okay. And I just like the suit. I was like, so I texted him or I messaged him and I was just like, hey, I couldn't find the picture after that. I went and searched. I could not find that suit. I was like, can you send me that picture? And he did. And I was like, dude, because I know he loves Spider-Man. Comic book writers, you're not going to meet too many that don't like Spider-Man. But having written Venom, and I've seen him write Spider-Man as well, not solo, but in the Venom world. That great scene in the diner with Eddie and Peter. Like, anyway, do you guys remember what I'm talking about at all?
Mm-hmm.
In Absolute Carnage? Anyway, I was just like, dude, I hate that this director is obsessed with putting gold on Spidey's costume or whatever. And he messaged me back. He's like, yeah, dude, I didn't like that either. Don't fuck with perfection. And I was like, yes. It's like validation. And I was telling Logan about it. And Logan literally said to me, he's like, I'm tired of you being validated by successful people. Like, that was his response. That was his response to his father validation. Because a lot of people are just like, oh, I don't really care about the gold. It's like, well, it sucks. It's ugly. It's stupid. It makes no sense. It's got one of the only costumes in comic book history that is almost virtually unchanged since its first appearance. Batman's costume has changed a lot. Superman's costume has changed a lot. Spider-Man's has not, because it's just such a classic design. And so to fuck with that and keep throwing gold on it no matter what just pissed me off.
You know what, too? And they fucked with you intentionally because they put his suit in the end of the movie. Like, he could have been.
They know what you want to see.
Yeah. They're like, he could have been wearing this the whole time, but we ain't going to give it to you to the very end.
Or just the homecoming suit, the original Stark suit. That's all I wanted.
Yeah.
And, and then that still could have been a cool reveal. Him, because I love that. And all right, I'm getting ahead of everything. All right, Spider-Man No Way Home.
Wait a minute. The post-credit scene in Hawkeye. Did you?
Oh, shut I thought about you.
I was thinking about you. I was like,
I left it on. I literally picked my phone up and I'm like, I just kept glancing up to see it. And I was like, this is literally that scene, but just without the Hawkeye audience.
I just thought about the juxtaposition between me and you. Like, I've got my hand in the air. I'm like, I could do this all day. And Sean's got like a gun to his throat.
It was so stupid. I'm like, that sums up this whole series.
Yeah.
It's just cheesy and corny, and they just fucking ruined it, and it's upsetting.
There are probably so many people like, how long is this going to go on?
Right? I was like, is this the whole musical? Jesus fucking Christ.
Rob's going. He's
Where you going? All right.
We got to talk about something else before Spider-Man.
Number one, Dad. No way.
Rob's going to hot box a cigarette.
I think he's just going to get coffee. But dude, so yeah, we'll talk about Spider-Man.
Wait, give your Hawkeye rating while he's gone.
Did we do that? I thought we did that already.
No, we didn't do that.
Mm-hmm. I'd give it 1 star. One. Uno.
Yeah, I give it more than The Matrix.
What do you give it?
I give it a 2.
Okay, ended up with 2. All right. First 3 episodes of Hawkeye. What do you give first 3 episodes?
First three, I enjoyed. I give it a 3.
Without you give it 3 stars without the knowledge, but I guarantee if you go back and rewatch it, having seen the whole thing, you will not enjoy them as much. I guarantee it.
Yeah,
now that you know the ending.
Yeah,
you'll be like, oh, I know where this is going, and it's so disappointing.
Yeah, because you're like, see, this is what I was worried about because you had said it, and I'm like, oh fuck, he's probably gonna be right, and I'm not gonna get my happy fucking Christmas show that I can watch every year. And like, dude, they just fucking procrastinated too long. Like, they saved all that shit to the fucking end. I'm like, there's no fucking way. It was all jumbled. It was a big jumbled mess in the end. And none of the stuff was dramatic in any way because it was all rushed. Like, they needed more scenes with each other, especially Yelena and fucking Hawkeye, man.
Right. Dude, so this is funny because this is what the opposite of the issue that I think they have with the Netflix series, with the Netflix Marvel series that I watch, Punisher, Daredevil, Jessica Jones. I felt like those were like 13 episodes, and I felt like those could have been cut down to 8. You know what I mean? Like, they had so much, like, these lulls in the middle where it was just backstory for every goddamn pedestrian you saw. And this show had the opposite where it was like, they should have, well, I mean, honestly, this series shouldn't exist. But if it was well done, if it was done correctly, it should have been about 8 episodes. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of had more time. But then again, when I think about what they actually focused on, they chose to focus on the LARPers. Like, that should not have been a story. Like that. You know what I mean? Like, that whole LARPing thing should not have been a part of it. They spent way too much time on that by spending any time on that.
Yeah. Like, when they first introduced the LARPers, I was like, okay, this is going to be a one scene. He got he's going and that's it. That's all of them. I didn't know they were going to be in the final episode fighting killers.
Right. Like you do. All right. So
Nobody knew I was gone.
I gave it 1 star, Rob.
What, Hawkeye?
Yeah. What do you give it?
Man. Oh, jeez, that's tough. I don't know. 1.5, 2.
And Steve gave it a 2. Or what? You gave it a 2, right? Steve?
Yeah, I did. Not that it matters. Who cares about our fucking ratings? Nobody cares.
It's good to have a little basis of comparison. All right. So Spider-Man, No Way Home. I'm going to
This
give my
was
rating right now
this
5
is
out of 4 stars.
this is the only thing that kept me from killing myself this week.
That's what I told Sean. I told Sean, I said, thank God for Spider-Man movie.
Right? I was supposed to have.
Even though I got the Omicron virus from going to see it, and probably long COVID
Dude.
for the rest of my life.
That is a super spreader event. Spider-Man just gave everyone corona.
It was so crowded. It was so crowded. I have not been around that many people in 2 years. It's ridiculous.
Hey, there was nobody next to me in my seat. I had an empty one right next to me. I was like, yes.
Dude, we saw it again today. So I saw it for the second time today. I took I took my boys to see it last week. Maggie didn't want to go see it, but then I convinced her to go see it. So I took her today to see it in the daytime. There was literally maybe 10 other people there because of the time we went. So we were nice and spread out. But still, it's still a risk, obviously just going out, being around people. And again, there was literally one other guy in the theater with a mask on. It was me and Maggie and some other dude. And then when a woman came in with her 3 kids, I was ready to fucking go to jail. I was like, don't you bring those fucking disease carrying motherfuckers in here. Oh my God. Do not bring school children into this environment. What are you doing? Like, oh, that's the vector right now. That's another difference we have is like everybody's back in school. Like we have all these disease vectors, and then they're like, let's go to the theater without masks, kids. Trump 2024. I'm a dumb cunt, by the way, in case you didn't know. I'm a really stupid, selfish fucking cunt. I don't even tell my kids to wear a mask because Jesus said so, I think, because I'm a moron and I don't understand the Bible at all. Like,
well, tell us how you really feel, man.
Fucking hell, man. It makes me it's so easy to wear a mask and get a vaccine, dude. It's so fucking easy. It's so fucking easy, man. No, it's like, not ideal wearing a mask, but it's easy.
Yeah. I'm so glad. I was like, I'm wearing my mask. I'm vaccinated, boosted, and I still wore a mask at the theater, and hardly anybody had a mask.
And that's why you have to wear one, because they're not trying to protect you from themselves. So you have to do your best to make a barrier.
I don't know if you know this, but the vaccines are giving people myocarditis. So you need to settle down with
that's a real thing, though. Hey, let me tell you a story about this, though, because so when the vaccines initially came out, we got ours in like April. Me and my family got ours, and my kids were 17 and 18 at the time. And the myocarditis stuff hadn't come out. It does give myocarditis to young men. It has happened. There are cases of it. Didn't know that the first time. For the booster, I was honestly hesitant. Again, because they had reported on this, legitimate news sites reporting on this. I didn't necessarily want my kids, who were 18 and 19 at this point, to get the booster, because I was like, I really don't, because again, I have heart issues anyway. So that was a concern, just congenital heart defect type stuff. Mm-hmm. But that's a real thing. But they're both adults at this point. So I was like, if you want to get the booster, just know that this is a potential. And then when they did, I was like, for like the first 10 days, I was like, how do you feel? How's your chest? How do you feel? How's your chest? Because they wanted to get it. And they were like, I don't think and they made their own decision. And Logan asked me, he's like, why didn't you care about this the first time? He's like, we didn't have that information yet. We didn't know, it wasn't, we hadn't given it to enough. I was like, but now that I know that, I have to consider it. And they made their own decision. They decided to get it. They were fine, thankfully. And I'm grateful for that. But there can be side effects, is what I'm saying. I'm not one of those people who just is like, oh, it's 100% good. Nothing in this world is like 100% good. You know what I mean? There's going to be something, but the kids were fine. And I'm very grateful for that. That is something to consider. However, my kids, knowing that, me explaining that to them, they still wanted to get it because they didn't want to get fucking COVID, and they did it, and they're good. And I don't really have a point to this story, I guess, other than the fact my concern is just for my children's health and my family's health. And that's why I don't understand how that's not everybody's concern at this point. Is, should I get the booster? Yes, because it protects me and it protects other people. How is that just not number one? Anyway, completely diverted from Spider-Man No Way Home. We all have COVID. All right, we don't have COVID yet that we know of. We'll say that. We have not. We don't have any symptoms, and hopefully it stays that way. But
I'm going to get tested tomorrow.
But dude, Spider-Man No Way Home. fuck. Oh man, dude, watching the movie again, and I cried so many times.
I
Uh,
did too.
And I cried again. I cried in anticipation this time when scenes were coming up, like before Aunt May dies, and even just the wholesome moments where the three Spider-Men are just kind of talking to each other. I was like tearing up because I just love the dialogue and the interaction. It just really hit home for me.
There was like
And
7 times where I teared up in the movie, and then the tears started to finally flow when Toby is holding that shield from. Oh, here comes Maggie.
Here comes Maggie. I hear her mumbling down the hallway. All right, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I got to tell everybody. She doesn't want to actually. Oh, we're gonna sit right there and talk.
Stare at you. No, I'm just gonna stare at you.
Oh, you're not gonna say anything. You're just gonna intimidate me. So Maggie has a thing.
Put the headphones on her.
Maggie does not. You want one of my earpieces? They're not. It's just do you want one? She's gonna stare. She's just staring at me over my computer. She's right in front of me, staring at me over my camera. Can you please stop doing that? It's incredibly distracting.
She's gonna slit your throat on camera.
So Maggie doesn't like movies that make her cry. If movies provoke an emotional response from her, she immediately is like, this is a bad movie. She doesn't actually mean it. However, I will say this for her, even though she won't admit it. But
yes, I mean it.
You do not mean it.
I mean it.
No. And she leaned over to me in Spider-Man today at one point and said, this is the worst movie I've ever seen. And that's like the highest review you can get for a movie from Maggie, basically. If it is the worst movie. And then she said to me at the end, she's like, this is on par with what you did to me with Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And
which was worse? Ask her which was worse.
Which one was worse, Steve wants to know.
Guardians 2.
She said Guardians 2 was actually worse.
Okay.
Very, very emotional, very well done stuff. And so we get to the all right, so let me backtrack a little bit. So she always asks these questions about how the movie is going to impact her emotionally. And I always find a way to dance around it or sidestep it. Partially because I don't want to do any spoilers, but also because I want her to go see it. And if I reveal anything that's remotely sad, then she won't fucking go.
I remember texting you because I teared up so many times, and I was like, "Is Maggie all right?"
She was not all right. She was not all right. She threatened divorce so many times today. She told me, she's like, "Pack up the Elantra, get all your shit in it." We're on our way home, by the way. She's like, "I want you to pack up the Elantra with all your shit and get the fuck out. We're done."
Yeah.
And so we're watching the movie. We go. Oh wait, I'm getting off topic here. All right, let me back up. So when she asked me about Spider-Man after we saw it, she said something along the lines of, "Is there anything in this that's sad or emotional or going to make me react?" And I danced around it by saying, "How am I supposed to know what you're going to react to?" And she just kind of let it go from there. And there's a little bit of validity to that because I saw Deadpool 2. I did not think it was an emotional movie. I took her to see Deadpool 2. And she was fucking crying at one point. I was like, "Oh no!" And I did not see it coming. I truly did not, genuinely did not.
But
Obviously,
this last one was a lie. You knew exactly how. It was
I do full fucking well, basically, dude. Yeah, I can't even pretend, but yeah, I do full. So we get to the theater, and I go and get popcorn, and we sit down, and I get a bunch of napkins, and I'm literally like, I got to save at least 2 napkins for 2 key moments in this movie, and I did. And I at certain moments, I just would hand her a napkin and to blot her tears.
You asshole! You couldn't bring tissues.
You're right, and I thought of that yesterday, and I forgot to do it this morning. I did think of that.
That's why you're getting a divorce.
Sean's like, "Here, wipe your eyes with this sandpaper."
But yeah, no, Rob's right. I thought of it yesterday. I was like, I got to remember to bring tissue, and then I completely forgot to bring tissue. But yeah, so we're watching the movie. Everything's going well. Okay, let me tell you this, too. This is what's amazing about Maggie. She had no idea the Doc Ock was in this. The Green Goblin was in this. She had no idea who the villain was. So she wasn't anticipating anybody arriving, let alone Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Wouldn't that be great to go into this movie just totally blind? And you're like, holy shit, Doc Ock is here. What the fuck?
Dude, we all heard rumors about Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. And yes, I agree. I would love to go in blind. Like when that portal opens up and I had no idea, That would have been great.
Yeah, and you're just like, holy shit, is that really what I think it is? And then like, yeah, that's how she was with Captain America: Civil War. She had no idea it was going to be like Iron Man, Black Panther, and all these people from the trailer. What, Maggie? What? You staring at me still? You want to come guest? You want to come speak your piece? Stop throwing my shit in the trash.
She's throwing your TV out the door.
So she's got her leg cocked on my TV stand. She's pissing on my TV now. She said she's going to come in the background and start taking my posters down.
They're going in the Elantra.
Yeah.
You told me that you knew who that Spider-Man was. I didn't.
Oh,
know.
yeah,
I didn't watch the Amazing Spider-Mans before, so I didn't recognize the suit. I didn't know which one it was. I was like, is
The
that Toby?
eyeballs.
Yeah, I had no idea, but Sean's like, that's Andrew Garfield.
I've watched a lot, even though I don't really I just love Spider-Man so much, and sometimes I've rewatched like the originals so much that sometimes I'm like, let me rewatch Amazing Spider-Man because I don't watch that often. So I'm very familiar with them just because I'm such a fucking Spider-Man fanboy. So as soon as I saw, like Rob said, the eyes, I was like, oh, those are the big eyes from Amazing Spider-Man 2, Andrew Garfield suit. That's when I knew, and I was like, yes.
Let's back this up to the beginning because this starts out hot, right where it left off from Far From Home.
Yes.
And I was like, this is going to be awesome just from the way it started. I had so much fun with him swinging around with her and how quickly the helicopters were at the apartment and everything.
Dude, that escalated so quickly.
Right? And then you get to see Happy's apartment. It was great. He's sitting there with a CPAP machine trying to sleep.
So this is
so many funny things in here. Great comedy.
So this is what Marvel normally does when they balance comedic moments with dramatic moments and whatever. This is them at like peak Marvel to me. Like Hawkeye did it horribly because a lot of the jokes just weren't funny. But like when they were doing funny bits in this, they were legitimately funny.
Yeah.
Like and to me, funnier than a lot of movies that try to be comedies, like funnier even than like Deadpool type stuff. Because it's like believable type jokes, like in interactions for the most part. There's a few lines here and there that are, hit or miss, but for the most part, it's totally believable and relatable interactions. And they do such a great job with that. But yeah, like you said, that escalates super quickly. Everybody wants to, interview Peter Parker. You have these factions. You have the pro Spider-Man people. You have the pro Mysterio people. The great scene with Hannibal Buress and JB Smoove and the dude from Silicon Valley.
Oh, yeah. That was a great scene.
Martin Starr, I think is his name. But yeah, and Hannibal Buress is just the whole time like, he's a murderer. Mysterio is right. It was great. That's totally believable now in a post-Trump world. I'm like, this is how it would be.
Yeah,
you would have
some of the kids made all these posters for you. You did that.
he did all this.
I love that line in the other one. He's like, I'm pretty sure that dude's a war criminal, but whatever.
Right.
But yeah, this had everything in it, and they did it right. Unlike Hawkeye, where they had everything in it, and it was just a jumbled, garbled mess.
I forgot to ask you guys. When he was walking, remember when he was like a perp walking towards the school after they found out his identity? Did you hear, or did I imagine it? Did somebody say do a flip or something like that? Did you hear that?
I did not.
I didn't know. I didn't hear that. I'll have to see it again.
I will say to that point, I thought I heard that guy's voice though.
Okay.
In the crowd. The guy I know you're
sure.
talking about.
I don't know if he said it or not.
Hey,
I don't
Spider-Man,
know if I imagined
it.
Maybe. I thought I heard that guy's voice.
I think it was when they were walking. When he was walking to school, but it could have been somewhere else. It could have been.
That's the part I'm talking about. There's that crowd of people with the barricades, and he goes to like go up the steps, and like there was a guy that looked kind of like that.
Everybody's yelling at him, and I thought, and I forgot to ask you guys that.
So you're saying your boy Clev could be in this movie?
Yeah,
it's your boy Clev.
So they get to they get to all that. They can't get into college, and so Peter takes it. What I loved about Peter's extreme step of going to Doctor Strange is honestly, that's how I think. I have like that catastrophic thinking where I'm like, I have to take drastic measures, and Doctor Strange is like, "Did you call them and plead your case?" And he's like, "You can do that. That's me." I'm like, "You can just talk to people." They said no. I thought they meant it, but that's not how the world works. Like that, you do. You could just call and talk to people sometimes.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm
so
surprised Strange did the spell for him. That was the
well,
bit.
see, that's a stretch, but I think it all kind of feeds into, like, when you think of Doctor Strange, you think about his ego, and a lot of what he does is just to see if he can fucking do it. You know what I mean?
He
Like,
did it already too.
Right. He claimed he did.
Yeah. Right.
That it,
Yeah, but his one job is to keep the reality safe.
But he's not the Sorcerer Supreme anymore.
Right.
Oh, that's right. Wong is. That's right. That's right.
But so I think also he gets bored, you know, he's shuffling around in his duck boots and whatnot. But yeah, I think a lot of it, that's just his ego. He likes to see if he can do it. Like, let me see if I can pull this off.
Hey, I'm not disagreeing with whatever he did. It made for a great movie.
No, and I'm not disagreeing with you, because that can be a stretch. Just the fact that they didn't even have a conversation beforehand. He just starts doing the spell. And then Peter's like, "Oh, wait." And he just keeps doing the spell. And it's like, like, you realistically, but again, you do have to have moments. Part of being able to overlook moments like that, stupid decisions, is just having a really well-made movie. It makes it a little easier to overlook somebody's poor decision. Whereas when you have something that's poorly made, it just makes every single little misstep stand out. You know what I mean?
You had to love too that he was just like, Strange was there, and then he was riding the bench until the very end. Like, I'm sure you're like, get Strange out of here.
Yes, I was really glad they did that. They let it be Spider-Man's movie, and then they brought in the other Spider-Man, and I loved how they didn't like. And dude, Spider-Man 3, Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 are all not good movies. Amazing Spider-Man's being the worst ones in my opinion, especially Amazing Spider-Man 2. So bad to the point that I thought I hated Andrew Garfield until I saw this movie, and I'm like, I think I like Andrew Garfield. I had no idea. It was a writing issue. It was a directing issue. He was great, totally lovable in this movie.
Yeah.
And then just all their interactions and that real positive vibe, you know, and then working together to try to, dude, it was just heartwarming. It was great to see on the screen, and it was nostalgic. You know, I've talked about like
member berries. One thing I learned is I love member berries from
not
this movie.
Always. Hey, Matrix Resurrections, member berries. See, you can do it wrong.
No, I loved all the member berries in the beginning. There was never Neo riding bitch on the back of a motorcycle. That is nothing I remember.
Okay, fair enough. But I'm saying you could still do nostalgia wrong, and that you have these two movies that contrast. And Logan sent me a great tweet, which was they managed to have Amazing Spider-Man 2 fan service for a movie that doesn't have any fans. And like when he catches MJ, and that was an emotional moment, you know, and he's all teared up, and he saved her, and it felt, I was like in the scene, man. I was like, I was with him on that. Even though that movie isn't great, that's still a great moment in that movie. That movie, the way, because that's like straight out of the comic book and everything when Gwen Stacy dies.
Yeah. He's like, "You okay?" And MJ's like, "Are you okay?"
Right.
That was so great, man. You can just see
good.
The emotion on his face. You know, like, thank God I saved her.
Dude, Willem Dafoe back as Green Goblin was fantastic. He was always great. And I love that they got rid of the mask. They put that purple hood on him. You got the purple and Green Goblin, you know, that was a great look. You had Aunt May delivering the line, the Uncle Ben line. We didn't see Uncle Ben die again. Yeah. But, you know, you still had the
responsibility line.
Yes. And Maggie is funny because, like, Maggie wasn't, like, quite emotionally invested. And when she heard that line, she, like, rolled her eyes and said something about it. What did you say about it, Maggie?
That's the death knell.
She said, no, you didn't. I don't think you said that. I thought you just said something about being tired of hearing it. No, you did say that eventually, but at first you said something about, I'm tired of hearing that fucking line or something like that. But
ask her about Batman's origin story.
So she said that, and like, And it was funny because like seconds later, she was like mopping up tears. So like, she's staring at me now. I'm getting the death look now because when she did say, she's like, well, that line is a death knell. So she knew it was coming, but it didn't hit with her until like Peter is.
I didn't give a shit about Aunt May, like her death,
Yeah,
but I cared about Peter's reaction.
she cared about how her death affected Peter, is what she's saying. She didn't really care about Aunt May dying, and that was the emotionally resonant part. Was his reaction to her dying. It was, it was very well played and well done. I think everybody loved Aunt May except for Maggie, apparently.
I don't give a shit about her.
She just didn't give it. She was indifferent to Aunt May.
No, yeah, a lot of hate for Aunt May from women. I've noticed. I was like, I don't know what that is.
She doesn't hate her. She just doesn't. She didn't care about her one way or another.
Yeah, that's how most. Yeah,
she's just
indifferent.
not. Yeah, I thought she was great. So
what'd you think of the villains? I love Doc Ock again.
That was cool. I still want to see like Doc Ock closer to his like comic book incarnation, like design wise. It's still great though. I loved that they did they overhauled Electro to actually look more like his comic book counterpart, like yellow and like the electric bolts around his eyes sometimes, like the mask and I thought that was fantastic instead of that weird blue jelly thing he turned into in the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Bring up the point you made about Electro being in the film.
Oh yeah.
I haven't researched it. I don't know, but I think you're right. I think it is.
No, I know I'm right because he literally says in the movie. So Doctor Strange says in the movie, he's like, we've brought all the people in who know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, is who's here, but Electro never found that out, and he confirms it in the movie at the end when he's like, I thought you were going to be black. Like he doesn't know Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So
you're thinking
it's a mistake.
They made a mistake on that? You think it was like how does Marvel like not see that? Because that is obvious.
They literally put the wrong year for Spider-Man Homecoming by 4 years. They make mistakes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But I think it's something that I don't. Again, this is a writer backdoor thing, but maybe that was just Doctor Strange's assumption of who came through. Maybe he didn't know 100% exactly who was coming through at that point. He just that was the conclusion he had reached, but he didn't quite have all the information because clearly somebody came through who didn't know that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. So,
yeah, because wasn't there a lot of people coming in the sky, like at the end? I don't know what silhouettes those were, but I wonder if all of them knew who. You wouldn't think that all.
So you're saying that if he would have done, so you're saying if he would have done the incantation right, then everything would have been perfect. But because he was kind of fucking it up, that's how Electro came through or something.
Sure. Or just because like I said, I think it was just one of those not enough research yet. Again, this is just a writer thing. I am making excuses now. One of the things I accuse you guys of doing. I'm fully self-aware. But that is one way to write yourself out of that, is just to, assume that's who's coming through. But again, clearly they, in their own movie, they proved that was not the case.
Well, as an experienced writer, I would say just don't put that fucking line in the movie. But,
yeah,
whatever.
It's like, how'd that get past?
Rob, what are you working on? Let me see your manuscript.
Home Depot, a novel.
It's called Home Depot and Crystal.
It's about a brother who's 7 years younger than him, and how he just floats through life being clueless. And,
sometimes just destroys and totals cars at random. Comes out unscathed.
Some say I float through life, but some also would say people enable me.
It's a love story.
Okay. I thought it was going to be a horror.
The night he came home.
All right, let's start working on a manuscript.
Dude, like I said, they're
Peter 1, Peter 2.
But
I love how Andrew Garfield was Peter 3. I fucking thought that was great. They just poked fun. He made fun of himself, basically.
Dude, I got to talk more about the suits though. Like, I don't understand the
God, you were
obsession with
still
the gold.
obsessed with the suits, though.
Dude, I've been reading Spider-Man. I've been a
I
Spider-Man
know.
fan since I was a kid. There has been comics where they change it, but it goes back right away.
Yeah.
He spent far too much time in this trilogy wearing. And here's the other reason: I hate gold. I hate the color. I'm the opposite of gold member. I do not love gold. I hate gold. Like, I do not. I just don't like the color. I don't like it. The only time I really remember seeing it used in the comics is when they had the original Iron Spider suit. I'm sure there's other times, but that was one of the more prominent times where he looked like Iron Man. He was just red and gold. And that was fine for the Iron Spider suit in the, in Endgame when he had like the metal suit. But with the cloth suits, just give him the blue and red, man. Like, I don't understand why they did black and red. And then when he turns it inside out, it's black and gold. What the fuck? Like, what with the gold all the time? And then when he gets the nanotech back, it makes a giant gold spider. I'm like, fuck, just let him be. Like, he's getting shown up costume wise by fucking Andrew Garfield. Like, he had the best costume in that movie until the end anyway. And it's just frustrating because, and I do like how they kind of reset it. And now we have Peter Parker as we've always known him. You know, he's poor. He lives in an apartment and he has to stitch together his own suits. He doesn't have Stark tech now. I did like that, but we still could have had a blue and red costume. He had a fucking blue and red costume. And for whatever reason, they just decided to change it in whatever the second movie was. What was the second movie? I forgot what it's called already. Thank you. Far From Home. And he goes black and red. And it was like, but why? Stark made you that suit and he's dead. And you're just like, fuck that suit. No. Like, you'd think you'd wear that as an homage or something. It just didn't make sense to have him in so many different suits. And then like Steve said, the big payoff is he's in the blue and red suit. So
they fucked with you. Like they did Quicksilver. They fucked with you.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, you know what we want to see. And you're like, fuck you, Gold LeMay. You get Liberace Spider-Man for this whole fucking movie. Like, fuck you. Fucking assholes. Pointless. That's my biggest gripe.
Sean dropped it down from a 5-star to a 2.
No,
because of the goddamn suit.
I can overlook that because I know that is some nitpicky bullshit on my part. That's a personal thing. So I can overlook that because the movie's so good and the Spider-Men were good and the villains end up working out great, even though I was very trepidatious about them, thinking that they were not going to, it was just going to be all nostalgia based, and it kind of was for a little bit, but man, they really got to the emotional heart of everything with Aunt May, and then bringing in like the experienced Spider-Man, sharing experiences, and then him doing the very selfless act, like when he sees that Band-Aid on MJ's head. And that's when he decides, he's like, whoa, you guys, with me in your life, you get hurt. You're better off without me. And he like makes that decision. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking. And I got divorced over it. That's how heartbreaking it was.
When oh, go ahead, Rob.
The costume design for Spider-Man for this movie is going to win an Oscar, and Sean's going to take it away. Take it away. They don't deserve
I love gold.
Seriously, that it is. He's fucking gold member. He's got a gold dick, and he wants to see gold everywhere. That's all I can imagine. Stop it. Stop it.
Dude, I like Spider-Man, but I don't, love him like you do. But man,
do you want to see Flash running around in like a green and black costume?
No, I'm trying
exactly.
I'm just saying I like Spider-Man, and when those 3 Spider-Man swung in together, I was over the moon for that. So I was like, I can't imagine what Sean is going through right now. Like, this
was awesome.
So fucking cool, man.
And dude, it's funny too, because I think I told you guys too, like, I'm not a big fan of the multiverse stories in the comics, all the Spider-Men running around. Uh-huh. But because it was a small group of Spider-Men, it wasn't like 50 Spider-Men. And because I did have that history with them in the movies.
Oh,
and then they wrote them so well, it just everything that I was thinking I was gonna feel, I did not feel. I was just elated. I was caught up in it. I loved seeing it. Yeah. I just hated that our current Spider-Man was shown up by the old Spider-Man as far as costuming.
When they all started to work together, I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Dude,
talk about figured it out.
What's that?
In the lab?
Well, no, I'm talking about the final fight scene when they were having trouble with the villains. And then they're like, hey, man, let's get together. Let's get on the same page. and they started working off each other. And oh my god, it was so much fun, man. So much fun. The lab scene was great too, Rob. That was phenomenal. Ned's like, what happened to
No, he said. So, do you have a best friend? And he's like, yeah.
He died in my arms after trying to kill me.
Yep.
It was heartbreaking.
Ned slowly backs away. Yeah, but then you get the end. Peter has to make that decision, man. He's like, dude,
it's brutal.
He can never be happy, man. This tortured kid, man. Tortured kid.
And he's got no. So this universe, it seems like he didn't have an Uncle Ben in this universe. You know, that's no, because a lot of people were saying.
I told you it's my cousin Vinny.
No, and a lot of people were saying like after Homecoming, they're like, oh, he's got to hear the line. Somebody's, where's Uncle Ben? We got to see all that. It's like, I'm guessing he didn't have one. She was just single.
Did I dream this, or did they mention something like this in the Spider-Verse? Like, not everybody has an Uncle Ben. Maybe it's something
probably.
else.
Yeah, because that's everybody's different. Because you got
probably
Spider-Gwen.
He dreamt it, or probably they said it.
I don't know.
No, I think
was that a dream, or is that from the Spider-Verse? I don't know.
No, I think you're right, though, Steve. I think I do remember something like that.
Yeah,
I've got to start rewatching.
Probably.
Oh, I've seen it in the comics, but yeah, you're talking about the movie. But dude, it hits all the right notes. The action is fantastic. It's well filmed. The fights. I finally got to see Spider-Man punch some people. That's one of my complaints about the last two movies is he doesn't get to fight anybody super. The fights were a little bit of a letdown because he kind of just turned into Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi at the end there. He was just hammering on fucking Green Goblin. It wasn't quite. He did do some cool stuff with the web. He shot his foot, stuck his foot to the ground.
Yeah.
And it started, you know what I mean? So he did incorporate some cool Spider-Man type stuff.
I loved it, man. He was throwing freaking hooks. He was doing uppercuts. I was like, damn. I was like, go, Spidey.
He was, like I said, he went Luke Skywalker, dude, where he's just like,
and that's I had teared up a lot earlier, but this is where the tears started to flow is when Toby saved him from killing Green Goblin. I was like, oh, that was so emotional. And like I told you guys, like, I forgot about Green Goblin on the ground. I totally forgot about him.
I was like, man, he's behind him.
I was like, they do this in every movie. And I totally forgot.
I was so caught up in that scene with Cow Eyes McGuire.
Yeah, and I was too. I'm crying watching Cow Eyes McGuire.
Right. And man.
I was like, he's gonna get it in the back.
And then I was like, oh my God, is he gonna die?
I thought he was gonna die though.
Dude, Maggie got upset there too. She's like, if he fucking dies.
Yeah.
I thought she said that though. I was like, oh, it's so much worse than that. It's worse than Tobey Maguire Spider-Man died. That's how bad. I didn't say that, but in my mind, like that's what I was thinking though. Was like it's worse than Tobey. If Tobey Maguire died here, and that's the saddest thing that happened at this point, you would be okay with it. Trust me. But that's not it.
That's not it.
Oh man. This landed all the emotional stuff and the action. Dude, 2.5 hour movie fucking flies by, dude. Fucking over. So
well written. So well written.
Yes.
Had everything. Action, dialogue, comedy, everything.
Yeah. And everybody's on point.
I like the setting of the last scene when they're just fighting on top of Cap's broken shield. I was like, this is so cool. And everybody starts to come in. I'm like, oh shit, is this the multiverse of madness? And then nope, it's just Peter suffering.
Going back to classic Spider-Man, he could never be happy. Oh man, so just perfect, dude. I didn't think. Oh man, we've gotten a fair few good Spider-Man movies now, like this trilogy and the first two Sam Raimi's, especially. They've come a long way. Now he's getting up there with Batman as far as like good movies now. I think he is up there with Batman now. Batman had like 5 really good movies.
Dude, this is the best thing I've seen, and I don't even remember how long. Like I can't.
I agree.
I can't wait to go get. Once I find out if I have Corona or not, then I'll go
Are
back.
you going to get tested for real?
No, I was just kidding.
Oh, okay.
No,
Well, you
but
didn't get it when Kristen had it, did you?
no, I didn't get it. So and I
well,
had 2 different tests taken. I had the rapid test and then I had the PCR test just to make sure.
no
So,
shit. That's so weird.
Yeah, very
That's
weird.
good though. I mean, that's very good.
And,
But dude, I don't know that I could be happier. Other than we got Book of Boba Fett next week to watch, and we'll see how that goes.
I was like, I'm so glad we got a couple more things. The Book of Boba Fett, I'm pretty sure is going to be good.
Robert
yeah, when I found out,
Robert Rodriguez is doing it, right?
Yeah. And he said in an interview when I found out what he said in the interview that the trailer,
he's a fanboy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's like us. He's like us.
He demonstrated that when he did that episode with the reveal. But he said in the interview though that he's like, the trailer they put together that I was personally disappointed in. It only shows footage from the first 15 minutes of the first episode. Wow. So I'm 100% on board because they're actually hiding stuff. They're hiding good stuff, basically, is what it is. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to reveal anything. So now I'm like, that's great then. I'm glad that the trailer, because I was not impressed with the trailer. I was like, I'm excited it's Boba Fett. I just didn't see anything in the trailer. I was like, oh, that looks sweet. Other than the fact that Boba Fett's in it. Yeah. So now that I know that he's holding back, I'm fucking, I'm amped up, dude. Yeah. I'm fucking stoked now.
And they did everything right in The Mandalorian. Like, I don't see this, group going astray.
Right.
So thank God for Spider-Man and hopefully Book of Boba, because I am distraught right now. Like I'm thinking about ripping fucking this poster down beside me. I'm gonna redo this bar.
I've already commissioned a new poster. It's just Neo with his hands on Trinity's shoulders.
I told Sean, I was like, thank God I have the original trilogy. I was like, thank God. I'm just gonna look at this poster and pretend like I'm just gonna think of what I wanted to happen, and I'm just gonna go with that, whatever's in my head.
Dude, circling back to the Matrix, though, there was other stuff I did enjoy in the movie, and a lot of it just had to do with kind of showing the outcome of revolutions where you had machines and humans living together, working together. I thought that was really cool.
I did too.
To see that progress. However, the movie honestly it didn't feel like it served a purpose. You know what I mean? It didn't progress anything. You know what I mean? There was just, why is it there? It's just there because they wanted a Matrix movie. You know what I mean? They didn't have a new story to tell, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's just there. It's kind of like the whole reason we have Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 is because Sony was going to lose the rights to the franchise if they didn't make a Spider-Man movie. So they did. And that's what we fucking got because of it. So that's what it felt like. It just felt like, well, we think we'll make money on this, so go do one. And it's like, what's the story? I don't know.
But it had me though for a lot of parts. Like you said, I like that, and I do when they're getting Neo out of the Matrix again, and he's hovering over Trinity, and she starts to raise her hand because of the proximity or whatever. I was like, dude, this is gonna be so awesome.
there were some good. See, it's weird though, because I still don't think it was as disappointing as Force Awakens, because at least you had a capable villain. You know what I mean? If nothing else, you had a villain that felt like a fucking threat for once. Because that was one of my biggest issues with Force Awakens is the villain is inept. The hero is way overpowered from the get-go. That's not good storytelling. What the fuck are you doing? But when Neo goes in that room, I actually like that scene
when he rewinds time or whatever.
Yeah, except the special defects where he's they shot Neil Patrick Harris at a lower frame rate and it just looked really bad. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves is moving slow, and then he's Doogie Howser's flipping around the screen all weird, and
I just say that's a glitch in the Matrix. That's what I say.
I guess it just seemed unnecessary, but I did like him explaining. But I was like, did I miss why Neo and Trinity are back? Why would you do that exactly? It just seems so weird to not have a legitimate reason to have them exist other than he's the anomaly of anomalies. Okay, well, you saw what happened, right? Like, you know what happened when you had the anomaly of anomaly. Like, what are you doing? Like, it was so stupid. It was just an incredibly stupid move from a really smart character.
Did she think maybe no one wanted to see an awesome kung fu fight?
Dude,
Because a lot of people didn't like the last ones.
No,
Because
it's a love story, Steve. You said it yourself.
yeah,
This is the movie you wanted, Steve.
and I got
yes.
And I blame
and
you.
I got it, and I loved everything about it. I was like, yes.
Stop yelling. You hurt my ears.
And then I needed more. I needed action too, man. Now I don't
Dude.
mind seeing a romantic comedy or something like that, but this is a
what
Matrix
you
movie,
wanted.
man.
This
This is
what
a
you
Matrix movie.
wanted.
Yes,
When
and
I
I got it. I got my love, and it was awesome. But-
was it awesome?
Was it enough? Was it enough?
wasn't-
No.
it was not enough. Not in a Matrix movie. I was wrong. I said I was wrong. What do you want?
And just to belabor the point, the text that really got me wound up, other than decisions were made, was when Steve was like, "Turns out, I don't only need a great love story. I need great action." I was just like, oh, he admits it. He admits it. It's not just about the love story.
I said I was wrong. I thought all I needed was Neo and Trinity.
I am simply kicking and beating a dead horse here, and I'm enjoying it. All right.
I need Neo and I need Neo and Trinity kicking ass together.
That is
Yeah.
the only reason I gave it 2 stars was because of Neo and Trinity.
Why can't you just have Trinity kicking ass and Neo kicking ass? Why can't you can still have a strong woman and not totally emasculate my hero? Like you can do both.
Stupid, you told me that though, because again, for whatever reason, that just didn't register with me. I was more concerned with the fact that one, I hate chase scenes. You guys know this; they're boring. Yeah. Other than Matrix Reloaded, the best chase scene ever.
Mm-hmm.
Other than like stuff like that, where they really change it up and they got people kung fu fighting at 90 miles per hour. Then I'm
on
like,
top
okay,
of trailer trucks,
right?
That was.
And then this one was literally just her weaving through the city on a motorcycle
with a guy on the back
doing jazz hands.
With a guy on the back. The Keymaster was on the back of the bike riding like a bitch.
So, well, no, I'm talking about in this movie, in Resurrections.
Oh, I'm Reloaded.
Well, yeah, that was a small part of a chase scene, though. That was like...
Right.
It
wasn't the third act climax.
No, it wasn't the third act climax. But yeah, in this movie, you got Neo doing jazz hands at things, and I'm just like, this is so anticlimactic as far as... I want it to be... Like, what I love about Revolutions, and as stupid as it is that the fate of humanity came down to a kung fu fight. And that's exactly what I want from a Matrix movie.
Right?
I want the fate of humanity to come down to kung fu. Well choreographed and brilliantly photographed kung fu as well.
The setting was amazing with the water coming down and the flashes of like the lights would go out and come back on. And then they use slow motion, but then they also let it go and they just went at each other. And the
music and the way the music swelled and everything, like all that stuff. Oh my god,
they got Neo.
It was so good.
And then they go Superman fight, like they're both flying in air, hitting each other. Before that they stopped for another fight in a building.
There was that scene though in Revolutions where it looked like Agent Smith's harness broke and he just hung there. And with his legs going like a baby. Oh wait, no, that was Resurrections. I got it confused.
Dude, in Reloaded,
so
you had the bully scene. I mean, that was like a 7-minute.
About the Burly Brawl?
Oh, Burly Brawl.
Yeah. How long was that? That was like the longest fight scene I've ever seen.
That was crazy, and that was so fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's so fun. Yeah. It's so well planned out.
Now, the effects don't hold up as well. But at the time, that was amazing.
Oh, dude.
It's still amazing.
Yeah.
Just because of the choreography level to it.
But not only did we get that, we got like you said, the chase scene. And we got
the chateau.
The chateau.
Yes. Yeah. That is one of my favorite scenes.
That's my favorite scene in Reloaded is the chateau scene.
Yeah. Dude, and I loved, and this is, I think, what turned a lot of people off the Matrix. I fucking love the conversation with the architect. I fucking love that scene.
I love that. Yeah. And I like
so
the Merovingian. The Merovingian.
Yes. I love Reloaded. And then he's flying with all that fucking, the centrifugal force just pulling everything up into his wake to save Trinity.
Yeah.
How do you not like that? Like, how do you not like that? And then how do you go from that to whatever the fuck straight to Showtime choreography bullshit this was.
Does anybody?
It was so disappointing.
Does anybody know what the budget was on this?
63 million, I think.
No, that was the first one, wasn't it?
Oh, was it?
I have no idea, but
I'm
if it
curious.
was 63 million, that's pretty low. For
That's
nowadays, that's like almost like a
very
low
low.
budget movie.
I thought that was the first one.
I'm looking it up right now.
First one was under 100 mil, and then the next
Yeah.
two were pretty expensive. But you
Yeah.
saw what you got for that too, though.
Right. But the fight scenes, and the Kung Fu was such an integral part of that series, as well as the philosophy and everything, and the religious aspects. Like, I loved all those elements, and we just got such watered down versions of everything. You know, we didn't like, I did like some of the conversations in this, like when he's talking about how to motivate people is with fear and desire. And I was like, dude, that is
What's
capitalist
happening now?
society. You know, that is it. You give people the fear of losing their house, losing their car, and you give them the desire of, you know, having just enough to save up for stuff that they enjoy or whatever. And that's how they keep us, you know, sedated or whatever you want to call it as people. I loved all those conversations. And then early on too, they were talking about that stuff when they were talking about design in the fourth game. I liked a lot of that stuff, but again, just no payoff. There's no payoff, you know?
Yeah. The thing I saw said no reported budget yet.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Well, it looked like about 63 million. I can tell you that. I believe that when you said it, because it's.
No, Rob's right. That was the first one. Oh, dude, I was so angry afterwards, and then I had to work with no sleep after that, and it was just I was like I told people at work, I'm sorry, I'm bringing my anger into the workplace. I'm sorry. I'm so fucking angry, dude.
Dude, when you hearing Steve say all that stuff, I was just dying laughing because like he called me when he was at work, and Steve never calls me, by the way. If we talk on the phone, it's because I called him. I'm sure Rob could say the same. But
everyone said my mother says that.
Right. Dude, and it's funny because I know that's what I sounded like when I was talking about Force Awakens, where it was just all passion, all rage, just confusion and disillusionment and all these things. But then you just had me dying though when you're like, I need to look at myself again. I thought I was a feminist. Turns out though, seeing Neo riding bitch on a motorcycle pissed me off, and I was just dying because I did not even think about that.
I called you. I made sure I was out of my store because I didn't want to be in earshot of anyone, because no one else has gotten up at 2 a.m. to see it, so no one has seen this shit yet. So I get in my truck and I started the conversation sitting in the front seat, and then 2 seconds later I was yelling at you, and I got up, I was in the back of my work truck pacing back and forth, and I'm just like they've ruined everything. They shit on everything I loved.
Oh, they did the thing with the trailer where they showed all this cool stuff, and I was in, dude. I was like, this might be really good. So maybe that was part of the reason I was disappointed too. But they showed us all the good stuff in the trailer.
Yeah,
all the
everything.
Where he makes the rocket hit the helicopter and
the double kick off the wall.
Yeah,
they showed us all that shit. I think they even showed us that one person getting thrown from the train through the blast, the hole in the train.
That was cool. I did like that when they just threw him out the train.
Yeah,
and they showed us like the scene in the dojo.
Yeah,
the best part of that scene, and it was just
they showed us the whole movie. And
dude, if Keanu Reeves, dude, I love Keanu Reeves, love Keanu Reeves. The man can do no wrong as far as I could tell. But dude, if he has reached a point, and I know he talked about his neck injury on the first Matrix movie, about how he was real limited in what his movement and stuff, because he has injuries, he has stuff that just don't have Neo and Trinity. Have them in the background. I would have been fine with that, with a new cast.
Yeah,
doing fast kung fu,
just give us some closure on Neo and Trinity. Okay, they're alive.
They did. It was called the third Matrix.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, they didn't even have to be in it at all. They were dead
for humanity.
Yeah.
I would have gone and seen this movie without Keanu Reeves or Carrie Ann Moss.
Yeah.
I would have gone and seen this.
I definitely would have too.
Well, not gone and seen it. I watched it at home, courtesy of Rob's HBO account. Thanks, Rob.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. I think when you were over here, when you were in Memphis, like you logged into Rob's on my.
That was me.
I came upstairs and I was like, oh sweet, I'm in. So I created myself an account.
Yeah.
I was like, all right,
that was my fault, Rob.
I
was trying. Well, there's a story behind that, and it's because your Fire Stick was having issues displaying HDR on any other app other than actual Amazon. So I didn't know any of your passwords, and you were at work, but I knew that password, and I knew it had, whatchamacallit. And I didn't want to like log you out of your Netflix account to log into mine. So I was just like, I'll just do that.
Yeah. Well, I use this old
code. I didn't log out. So that was my fault.
I use that old. You gave me some old code from like an old cable company or something. I still use.
And I used to use that, but it can be hard to use.
Yeah, sometimes there's too many people on, and you can't get in. But it works. I can get everything, like HBO, Showtime.
I think we all kind of share some passwords. Like, and if you guys need a password to something, just let me know. If I have it, I'll share it. Because
Steve gives me nothing.
Oh, really?
I've said I've given you my password to multiple things. I can't help it if you don't log in.
You did give me that computer that didn't work.
It worked fine. Is your internet?
Yeah,
and you did give him COVID.
It had Intel inside.
Speaking of you not calling people, like, so Sean, you got to hear this, and listeners. So I go over there, and I had just talked to my parents, and my mom and dad were like, "Yeah, Steve said he was going to call, and it's been like 5 days, and he never because they always ask me, well, what's Steve and the kids do, and Kristen." I was like, "Why don't you call them?" I was like,
they drop in on us all the time.
Know. So anyway, so then I go over there and I was like, "Steve, you need to call your mom." She said you were supposed to call her back and you never did. And Steve's like, "I just talked to her."
I did.
And he's yelling at me. And I was like, "Look, dude, I'm just a messenger." And he's like, "I just talked to her like 2 days ago." And he's scrolling through his phone. And I'm like, "Dude, whatever. I'm just telling you what mom and dad said." Well, and then Kristen is defending Steve, and she's like, "Yeah, we just talked to them. They're old. They say this all the time. They think we never call them." Steve's scrolling through his phone. He looks, and it was like 6 days ago. And they're talking to me. They're both explaining to me for 15 minutes.
It wasn't 6 days. It wasn't 6 days.
For 15 minutes that mom and dad are senile and that.
No, you got it all. You got it all wrong. No, it was only 2 days.
That's the story, buddy. That's the story.
It was a couple days.
It was more than 2 days. Oh my God, you were such a liar.
No, it wasn't.
It was like
I got to back Rob up on this,
dude.
one.
It was like 5 or 6 days that you saw it on your phone, and you were like, "Oh yeah, maybe."
No, get this right.
And then you said, "Oh, they just dropped in," and then you were like, "Okay, so
they did. Dude, it was a couple days. What the thing was, I was supposed to call her. I was supposed to tell her about I talked to them, but I was supposed to call them again to tell them whether or not I had tested positive for COVID.
Nope.
That was what she said. That I forgot to tell her. But I talked to them recently. It was a couple days.
You looked at your phone. Now you even forget the story from a week ago.
Rob, it doesn't show my phone doesn't show when Alexa drops in. I talk to them in more than one format. Oh yeah, look at that. Sean's holding up something for YouTube viewers.
I'm trying to end the family feud here. So,
well, he's wrong. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not, dude.
So,
yes, you are.
Good God.
So
You're wrong, dude.
We all went to go see your parents, like a little Christmas visit. Your mom said she had a package for me. And I get she hands me the package. She's like, "Oh, it's for Rob." And I'm like, "This is a fucking Funko Pop." After I told him I'm getting rid of all my Funkos, he did this on purpose. And then I open it up, and it's fucking J.J. Abrams Funko Pop, which is fucking hilarious because all I do is shit on this dude. And so now,
dude, Rob is the best at getting fucking thoughtful gifts. Like, there is no one better. Like, he'll get you stuff you like. I do like that. Like, I totally forgot about that, you know? And then, or something like that where he knows it's just gonna, it's gonna fucking drive you crazy.
But I didn't even know this existed. And then I opened it up, and I just thought he was like, oh, because Rob and I both fuck with each other because neither one of us likes Funko Pops, even though I do own them. But I have been selling them off, the ones that are valuable. And so I'm always telling Rob I'm going to get him a Funko Pop. And then he fucking beat me to the punch. And not only did he get me a Funko Pop, but he got me a Funko Pop for like one of my least favorite people in the entertainment industry. And
I don't think you could have got a better gift. Like, that's fucking perfect, man.
Dude, it was, and I think your mom got a picture of me. I was just dying laughing, dude. Like I was cracking up.
Dude, you got it. You got to display it.
Sean called and I said, "Don't you goddamn spoil a thing, you motherfucker!" And he's like, "Oh, I just wanted to say thank you for the gift."
He just like rips my head off, and, I
thought he was gonna spoil the movie for me. I was like, "Don't you say a goddamn word!" He's like, "Oh man, thank you for the gift."
I swear to God,
Rob hangs up on him. Click.
Yeah, I still maintain that I do not spoil movies for people because I don't want people spoiling movies for me. So I don't know why you guys are so afraid of me doing this to you, but I swear to God I don't do it.
Hey, when I come up to your house, that J.J. Abrams better be on display somewhere.
So I bought a miniature barbecue to put it on. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll get you a protective case.
But yeah, I was dying. That was hilarious. And now I'm like, I got to come up with some fucking gag gifts now. I'm gonna send Rob like a fucking 30-inch Funko Pop. Like,
the only Funko Pop I own, Steve, is the one you gave me. I was like, I have no desire to ever own.
You got the multi-pass one?
And you know what's funny? It looks just like the J.J. Abrams Funko Pop. I don't know why.
They all look the same.
Wait a minute. I thought I got you another one. Did I?
I got multi-pass. That's the only one I have.
Oh my God, dude. I think I wrapped something and forgot to give it to you.
You probably put it on your shelf, you selfish bastard.
No, it's something I don't like. Oh my God. I think I wrapped a gift somewhere. Forgot to give it to you.
What is it?
I'm not going to tell him what it is. Because it's perfect. Are you sure it's a Funko Pop? You only have one?
Oh, shit.
Oh, there he goes.
Rob's got to go check. He's checking in the garbage. Where?
Oh my God. You remember in Christmas Vacation where he goes... Yeah.
Right, tell me while he's not listening. What did you get while he's not listening?
It's a Gumby.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, Gumby.
Okay.
You remember when Clark goes up in the attic and he reaches in the wood and pulls out that old present?
Yeah.
That's Rob's present somewhere in this house.
Right.
Oops, sorry, Rob. I got a present for you somewhere.
See, it's funny. I hate Funko Pops, but here's one right here. I got, of course, Deadpool.
Now that one is cool. I will say that
I bought this when I had a desk job briefly, not in my own house. And I was like, if I'm going to be at a desk, I got to have Funko Pop. I got to look like corporate fucking collector guy. Yeah. Like, can't come in with like cool shit like this, like, Hot Toys and this sideshow statue and shit. Gotta have the Funko Pop.
Being a blue collar worker, wasn't it cool having a desk? I had a desk for like 5 years.
It was, dude.
It was so these motherfuckers who have desks, it's so easy in life to have a
job. Dude, going from being on your feet all the time for my entire career to sitting down. I was so angry at corporate culture and all their complaining. I was just like, you guys don't know what work is. I got my boss literally sending me YouTube videos to watch at work and then to go discuss. And I'm like, dude, every job I've had regimented breaks. Like, you get 15-minute break, 10 o'clock. Other than that, You get back to work.
Yeah.
And you like, no downtime. Like,
Right.
I'm at my desk. Hey, look this up. And we're fucking brainstorming shit, just sitting around, talking, drinking coffee, fucking talking about this new whiteboard projector he wants to get. You do about 4 hours of work, maybe in an 8-hour day. Like, meanwhile, and then like when you're on your feet, you do like 12 hours of work in an 8-hour day.
That sounds amazing. I've never had a desk job. That sounds great.
Oh, it was
You get to have
insanely.
pictures. It's kind of cool.
Right. I got
Yeah.
Spotify playing. I got a
Yeah.
YouTube window open. I was logged into my fucking Voodoo account. I'd have like Deadpool 2 playing while I'm working. Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck? I mean, air conditioning.
Yeah.
It was insane. It was
You're not-
such an
Your
upgrade.
balls aren't sweating.
Right.
How was the pay? Was the pay
So-
good?
That's
The
good.
pay was good. Yeah, that's why I took the job at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Not as good as some of the other jobs I had, but I was new to what I was doing. So
That
it's kinda
sounds
low man on the
amazing.
totem pole.
That sounds
Dude,
like
it was just,
sounds like Michael Bolton PC load letter.
dude, that's when I really started putting on weight too, was like last year, because I was sitting at a desk.
Jesus
And I'm
Christ.
like, that's when I understood
understood
too. I was like, no wonder people work out. Because I was like, I work out all day normally. I'm lifting 55-pound bags repeatedly in like a fucking 90-degree warehouse. Like, I'm not going to the gym when I'm done. I've worked out. So
Yeah.
then I understood working. I was like, oh no shit, you don't do fuck all at these type of jobs. You do got to go somewhere. I just started ballooning up, and here I am. Like,
still in the chair.
still in the fucking chair. And now I'm at home, and it's even better. But yeah, dude, corporate jobs, or just like desk jobs, are so different from manual labor. I mean, it's still work, but fuck you at the same time. I've had a desk job. It was a million times easier.
What's funny is the same guy that was like sending you the YouTube video. Like when he's out in the field, he's like telling that guy that's digging a hole, shoveling for like 2 hours in the fucking heat to like, what are you doing sitting around? It's like, you know, it's like, meanwhile,
you're on
he's
like
been fucking off for 4 hours all day.
right, and like, I mean, well, I'm on a higher tier, and it makes no sense to somebody who's normally the guy digging the holes. It's like,
Right.
this seems like egregiously unfair. You know, like,
I just picture those people just playing solitaire on their computer all day.
That's
Like,
pretty much what they do.
Is that a desk
Dude,
job?
When I worked, like at the job before that, when I would come out of the warehouse, whatever, the production area, into the office, I would literally walk in on people playing Candy Crush and shit.
Yeah.
It's like, I was like, I fucking hate you people
Yeah.
so much. And they would act like it was a big deal because they'd stay over for a half hour sometimes. And it was like, you're sitting at a desk. Like, it's not the same. Like, I'm exhausted. I stink. I have to shower every day. I didn't shower every day in an office job. I didn't need to. I didn't get sweaty. I didn't get stinky, you know?
That's what they say. Those who shower at night and those who shower in the morning. If you shower at night, you know you've been working hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I always shower at night. Always, like, can't wait. Working in the restaurants was the worst. I smell like a fucking French fry after
the
work.
grease.
Your
the
grease,
grease smell, yeah.
Oh my God. I couldn't wait to shower when I get off work. All right. So, do we got anything else? Sounds like we're running out of shit to talk about.
Yeah, we're just bullshit. So yeah, let's wrap it up. But what do you guys your 4-star ratings? 4-star scale rating?
4.
Oh, 4 for sure, dude.
Doesn't get any better. It's a great movie.
No Way Home.
I can't wait to go see this again.
That was the best movie I've seen since Endgame. And Endgame was more of a I mean, it was just wrapping everything up. I mean, this movie was so well put together. I mean, you could say Endgame was, not the, I mean, it was awesome, but I mean, as far as a whole movie put together, this movie was amazing.
Yeah.
It was great.
It was good.
You know what though? I do have to say this about No Way Home. I said this to Maggie earlier. I was like, we can really only view this movie as fans, but imagine going in. Like, I'm really curious. When I was at your parents' house the other day, they're like, "Oh, we're going to go see Spider-Man tonight," and they're like, "Do you want to go or whatever?" I'm like, "No, we're going to get going home." And I started thinking, that's when it hit me, because we've all watched movies with your parents, and everybody's watched movies with their parents or somebody of an older generation. they tend to have a lot of questions. And so going in as like non-Spider-Man fans, like I don't know which Spider-Man movies they've seen. I feel like a lot of this might go right over their fucking heads as to who they should recognize and why.
Yeah.
And so this is definitely a movie. But I can't hold it against it though. But this is definitely a movie where you have to have seen like 5 other movies to really
or to have that emotional impact.
At least 5 other movies, maybe 7, if you, total, possibly more. If you throw in Endgame and Infinity War, but there's a lot there that builds up to this. But again, as somebody who read comics or just anybody who follows serialized TV, like, can you really? I mean, who are you going to blame for not knowing who those people are? It's like you're going to have casual moviegoers who are just going to go see the big latest thing. But I feel like at this point, that's a small portion of the population, right? Like almost everybody's seen the Marvel movies. They know they're getting a Marvel movie. They know there's backstories. Like I've met people who are like, I didn't watch a single Marvel movie until Infinity War came out. And then it was such a big movie. I went back and watched all the other movies before I saw Infinity War. Like I've heard that story from multiple people. Because the franchise just got so big and people just got that FOMO, you know, and they're just like, well, fuck, I guess I got to watch 22 movies now. So I guess if I tried to look at this movie objectively, which obviously I have not been objective, and normally I'm not when it comes to movies, I can only approach it with my own biases and perspectives. But objectively, this movie would be like confusing as fuck, or maybe just kind of a letdown because I didn't have that emotional attachment or history with the franchise where I would just kind of be like, yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay.
But as somebody invested, fucking stellar, dude. Fucking amazing.
Well, amazing. I'm gonna wrap it up here by saying, you know, my mom and dad, like you were saying, they are those moviegoers. They've seen all the movies, but they won't remember them.
Right. They're not watching them all the time.
The biggest question I know my dad will have after that movie, after this new Spider-Man movie is, he'll come up to me and he'll ask me, why didn't he wear the blue suit in the whole goddamn movie? That'll be the question Dad asks.
Is that it?
That'll be the one. That'll be the one that'll just blow his mind.
That'll be like fucking gold.
Like, don't they know Spider-Man's blue and red? How am I supposed to know who Spider-Man is?
I've never heard my dad say fuck in his entire life. But anyway,
I've heard him say shit, but I don't think fuck.
I've never heard the F word come from my
your mom says the F word all the time now.
Yeah, I got I started prepping the kids. We watched Spider-Man 1 and we're about to start 2. I'm just gonna skip 3.
Dude, is Dom just don't skip 3, dude.
You got the villains from 3.
There's some really good stuff
Sandman.
in 3. There's some really bad stuff in 3, but there's some really good moments in 3 as well.
Yeah, you got Sandman.
Yeah. You get the Sandman stuff. You got the stuff with Harry that I think is actually plays really well. You got some really, really low moments in that movie too. Venom, the dance scene. But
they love the first one. So
yeah, dude, I love that Dom loves Spider-Man though. Like that just makes me so happy.
Yeah, he loves it. Oh, it's all he talks about all the time. He's always doing the poses and everything. I was
That's
like,
great.
Oh, dude,
that's fantastic.
It's so cool to watch him do that.
He's
always
happy.
wearing he's got a little jacket, but the hood comes over his his full face. It's got the eyes and everything. He's always wearing.
Are you taking him to see it or what? What are you
waiting
waiting for?
Yeah, we are. Well, dude, I'm going to let it die down. I don't want it, dude, because I don't know how restless they're going to be. What is it, like 2.5 hours, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a ride.
There's some downtime in the middle, so, I just don't want
Are you
bring in some rowdy kids.
Are you disappointed that he's not a Flash fan?
No.
You're okay with the Spider-Man?
Dude, whatever he likes, I'm okay. He can like Neo on the back of a fucking bike, and I'll be like, "You go for it."
You're not my son anymore. It's fine.
Oh my god, dude! I'm sorry. Before we go, I was in one of my accounts, and we were talking. He was talking about. I don't know how we got on the subject, but he was like, something, gay people are evil or something like that.
Who, like one of your customers?
No, one of the guys that works there.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, gay people are evil. I was like, do you have kids? was like, do you have a son? He's like, yes. And I was like, well, what would you do if your son was gay? He's like, I would kill them.
Jesus
He
Christ.
said gay people, being gay is a sin. I would kill
Oh,
them.
my God.
And then
all
I was like,
right.
I was like, let me just test something here. I was like, what do you think of Joe Biden? He's like, crime is so high. Trump did so much better. I was like, all right, can I have the check? I gotta get out of here.
All right.
He's like, I would kill my son.
This is going to get me.
That is a
this is
sin.
going to get me
Because
canceled.
murder's
but I have
not a
to,
sin, but
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
gay
right.
is.
It's like, okay,
I mean, that's
whatever.
fine.
so this is going to get me canceled, but I have to ask, what was this
Arabic.
like? Was this a Muslim person, most likely?
Yeah.
Okay. It's just,
Yeah.
that great religion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Being Muslim, it's very,
But
okay.
I was just like,
had to know.
I was shocked because he was serious, man. He was like, I would kill them. I was like, you would kill your own son? He's like, yes, it's a sin.
That's so.
It's like, okay, what?
And I do
like
now I need to have a disclaimer though. I
so
hate
he
all
really
religions.
did not like Neo on the back of a bike.
Again, I need to make a disclaimer. I hate all religions. All right, I'm not an Islamophobe. If you are any religion, I
Right.
think it's fucking stupid, and you're being conned, and you should just stop it.
Yeah.
But so I don't want to be singled out for that. It's like no. I hate all religions, all of them, literally all of them. And yes, some are worse than others, but they are all bad. I don't like any of them, so don't single me out for that. I think all religion is dumb.
Wait a minute. Is hedonism a religion?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, hedonism is just doing whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, I was like, that's what I want to do. If there's a church, I would congregate there.
You don't need a church for that. That's what's great about hedonism. I don't go to church. I'm a hedonist. Like,
but if I could go congregate with a bunch of other hedonists, then
you can. The best place, literally, the Satanic Temple, the Satanic Church. If you want to do, because that's what Satanism actually is people doing whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah,
it's gay people, it's trans people.
Yeah,
it's people doing whatever they want, and that's it. And
yeah. Why wouldn't you do whatever you want as long as it's not hurting someone? Like, why wouldn't everyone do that?
Because you know what? Because some people want to kill gay people. like that's like a strong desire. I would kill him. Check, please.
I was like,
holy
yeah,
shit.
I was like,
some moral social construct, man.
I was like,
what's that?
You still have to have some type of moral social construct.
Yeah, but you don't need religion for that.
No,
you don't need religion to do that.
I'm not arguing with that.
I say that religion actually feeds into that thinking of now we have to kill. Now, Steve's example.
Dude, normally I'd be like, oh, he's just talking shit. He wouldn't really do that. But the way he was saying it, I was like, okay, I believe this guy. I was like, I got to get out of here. I'll see you Monday.
And dude,
I was like, mental note, no more talking to this guy.
Right? That's so terrible. That's so
yeah,
awful.
but there are people out there like that. It's just like, oh,
how did the topic come up?
I fucking have no idea. We were talking about something.
I thought you overheard him. I thought you said you overheard him say that.
I think he was just. It was weird. He was ranting about something, and then he just started talking about it. And I don't know how it was. It was the gay people came up and murdering gay people. I was like, okay.
Could you imagine just hating gay people?
People just come up. That's what
I don't know what we were talking about. It might have been what was going on in the.
You're probably
that's what it was.
You were probably having a conversation.
No, it was. He was saying that someone had got shot or something, and that's when I said, "What do you think about Biden?" You know, and then he said, you know, because I guess one of the people that worked there got shot and killed, and he's like, "There's too much crime, stuff like that," and then he's like, "These people are running." To something, I don't know what he said, but he's like, the gays are taking over. I don't know what he said, but somehow we got to the point where, you know, gays are evil.
So we just lumped in all evil people together, kind of thing.
I guess
just threw the gays in with the murder.
Sean's right. You know, religion. Man.
Yeah,
it's like it doesn't make sense. They can't let people be happy.
I literally can't imagine just being like, oh, I hate gay people. Like, I can imagine hating a gay person because they're an asshole, but not just because they're gay. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But I just like gay people.
I looked at him. I started laughing at first. I was like, "Ha, but then I was like, oh, and that's when.
He's dead serious.
That's when I was like, well, what? I was like, do you have a son? I was like, what would you do if he's gay? I would kill him. It's like,
You know what's funny? He probably doesn't even know any gay people or have ever met any gay
right.
people.
No,
That's what
no.
exactly.
no, he probably is gay himself.
Oh,
That's
well, that
the
could
most
be,
likely
too.
scenario.
That could be it. I mean, there's a lot of that whole self-loathing stuff, but I mean, some of it is just taught hatred. It's just like ingrained. Dude, okay, one more thing and then we will wrap up. I know Rob wants to go.
2 hours ago.
This was great, and this is something I never thought of, and I saw it in a fucking meme of all places, and I don't know who posted or where it came from because I couldn't find it, but I thought it was fucking brilliant. And it was basically the sentiment of this meme was, isn't it crazy how Jesus found a bunch of people named Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and Paul in the Middle East? Isn't that weird? That in the middle of like Libya, Israel, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, all these, he's just hanging out with Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and Paul. Though we're supposed to, like, it's crazy to me that it never even occurred to me how absurd that is.
Dude, that just blew my mind.
Right?
I never even. That is awesome.
Like,
it never occurred to me.
And all our pictures of Jesus is a white man.
Right. Well, I've always thought about that.
Right.
And I understand that, but I never thought about the name thing.
Right. That's not. No.
It's been translated.
Those are all very Catholic sounding names, aren't they? Isn't that interesting? That if you thought about those names, who comes up? Is it the Jewish faith or is it the Catholic faith that comes?
Well,
interesting.
Well, we know they just took a bunch of other, ideas from paganism and all that shit.
Those are the whitest names you could possibly have.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, and their last names were Smith.
Right. Smith, Johnson, like all. But that just blew my fucking mind, though. I was just like, wow, I never even fucking thought of that. Joseph and Mary, come on.
Fuck your religion. All right, thanks for listening, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.